Tom's eating, so he'll be joining shortly as well.
Yeah, I believe we are live now. My computer says we're live. So,
Okay.
yeah, and YouTube turns up, so we are live. Yeah, but welcome to the stream.
I believe we are live now.
This is a Friday hangout, and we have some audio feedback. You guys have speakers on?
Yeah. Sorry, that was me.
Yeah. And today we are going to talk about the TCT show and hopefully have some discussions on what was interested to see in the TCT show. Tom, FilamentFrenzy will be joining in a bit. He's getting ready. And Ian and Tom and Miles went to the show and they can tell us about it. But I want to start with introductions and start with Kat.
Okay. Hello, my name is Katja, and I live in the small little principality of Liechtenstein. I don't know how many people are living here that are 3D printing. Maybe I'm the only female one, but for sure the only one that is speaking maybe English on his YouTube channel, if there is any YouTube channel out there, I don't know. And yeah, I'm by day job, I'm a dental technician, I'm a course instructor, and at night or in the evenings, I love to 3D print, test filaments, make lots of crazy stuff. Maybe I'll start printing jewelry in the near future, not only printing, but also casting in silver. And I'm gonna make some films as soon as it works. So yeah, that's me. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. And Ian, you're up.
Hi, I'm Ian, and irblinx on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, My Mini Factory, what else? Pinshape, Cults 3D, and on Thingiverse, I am Old Master, long story. And yeah, I was at TCT. I was fortunate enough to be there this week and had a really good time. So spent 2 days there.
Yeah, thank you. And Miles, you're up.
Did I unmute this time? Yes. Hello. So yeah, Miles, 3D printing person, does things, moderates Facebook. Hi.
Yeah, thank you. And I'm Marteinn, and I have a channel called 3DP Iceland, and I do a lot of filament testing and print out landscapes that I paint, like this one. This is a recent painting I do. And I print them out and paint them with acrylics. Like I said, I do filament testing and print out all sorts of things on my channel. And you can find all our channels and social media links in the video description. So you can go to our channels and sub to our channel and also sub to this channel, the Friday Hangout channel. So that's introductions. So I want to start maybe with Ian. Since you went to the show, what was the experience on? It seems from the picture it was really a professional, like commercial showcase, or are there any community, just people showing their prints and stuff, or is it just commercial platform?
Yeah, so TCT is a trade show basically. So it's not like your MRFs or your ERFs or even Maker Fairs. It is predominantly big companies selling really big, expensive things, as what it tends to be. But there are, a core of enthusiasts that go to it because it is the biggest show in the UK. It's the biggest, and one of the very few, I guess, that is centered on additive manufacturing as it is. And we do get some of the big names in this community coming there. For me, the show, the experience, I was there last year for the first time, so this was my second time going, but the whole experience is about the people. I was I was lucky enough to meet Miles, who we see there for the first time.
Lucky.
Lucky, yes, very lucky. Obviously got to spend a few days. Anybody that watched Twitter will have seen that I spent a few days with my pal Tom Jackson. So that was good fun. We had a good laugh. We saw the Daimlos were down there. So Nick and Nick, the Bugman and Menace's mum, were down there. We got to see them. And then the kind of people that are, they're exhibiting that you know as well. George, who obviously has been on here from MVO Engineering, really good guy. Really nice to actually get to. There you go. See. Miles is representing the really good guy, and had some interesting stuff on his stand. You had I got to have a chat with Richard Horn, Rich Rap, on the E3D stand. I think he was just kind of wandering around and taking it all in as well. He'd gone dark, I guess, on social media for a while, and he's just come back. So, like I say, for me, there were, I'm kind of glossing over the fact that you had the E3D tool changer, which is amazing. You had the Prusa MMU2, which again is amazing. You have some really nice materials, but for me, the people are what it was all about, and some really good conversations, really good fun, and the big one for me, obviously, given my close affiliation with them, I guess, is Filamentum. And I've kind of tweeted a few times on what have you with the hashtag family and what have you, because that's kind of how it feels, how they really made us feel welcome and valued again. So it was really good to see them, and those guys were announcing a sub brand, if you like, so Filamentum Industrial, which is more technical materials, and they've got some that are already released, some of the ones that were in the current portfolio that they've branded under the industrial banner, if you like, but then also an awful lot of clever and really interesting materials coming out in the future. So overall, I say it was a good show. It is definitely trade centric. I wouldn't advise anybody from the US to jump on a plane and come over thinking that they were going to be coming to the UK's version of Murph. It just isn't like that. But having said that, you can make the best of it, and there was certainly plenty of good things to see.
Yeah, so it's maybe a good opportunity for the Europeans to meet up inside the business side of 3D printing. But is there any other type of manufacturing also on the show, or is it every company there focused on 3D printing?
It's basically additive manufacturing is the main focus. There are one or two kind of ancillary companies that go there. So finishing companies. There's one. There's a company that's been there twice that I've seen, and I just happen to at work we have the label printer, but they manufacture a vinyl label printer.
That still made no sense.
What was that, Mouse?
That made no sense why they were there at all.
It's why? They were there last year. Didn't understand it last year. Understand it less this year. But there's services around it and all that sort of thing. But the main focus is you kind of as I say, additive manufacturing. So your 3D printing. There are. We didn't get, to be fair. We didn't get much. We had intended on day 2 to go around and literally look at everything and make sure we saw everything. Well, we didn't do that. We were far too much time socializing, I think. It's all Miles's fault.
I saw literally everything. I saw everything.
Yeah, and my first question to Miles: how many people did run up to you and scream, "Miles, Miles"?
Even Tom. Everyone else was very nice.
Yeah, that was the most important thing to do. Yeah, but
it was that was a serious message. Right? It was one of the few serious things I actually put on Facebook for real, where I was like dead ass serious. Like, please don't. It was fine as I knew it was them, but it was that was just a thing from last year that I did not enjoy because I'm not very outside boy at the moment.
You did you did well with the big group hug that you got from those guys.
I feel like I know it was you lot, but like a bunch of people from last year was like, I know you, and I'm like, no, stop. Whoa.
Yeah.
It was too much.
And Miles, from your side of things, what was the most interesting thing to see there as the products, not the people, the products that are on showcased? What was the most interesting?
I knew there wasn't going to be any really specific big product announcements, so I didn't really go there for that. I got to have a really nice words English. I believe it. I got to have a really nice chat with Mark from Pure Poly, and I've been watching their printer and their system go up for a long time, as well as get to chat from a couple representatives from Raise 3D, because those are kind of examples of companies that sort of are demonstrating what I like to see in terms of company structure, conduct, and influence with the community. So it was good to talk to them and see how their minds are working and see how it affected their decisions as businesses and how they've grown from small. I believe both were on Kickstarter, or maybe Pure Poly was on Indiegogo. And we all know the issues that can happen with 3D printers and crowdfunding. So it was nice for me to be able to talk to the guys there and sort of see where that was going. And it's going good places.
Yeah, and the companies that were there, were they mostly European companies, or were there also companies from the States?
Mostly Europeans. The Big Evil Stratasys was always there, and the Yankees represented themselves. Desktop Metal was there. 3D Systems, those guys, they were all there. The big boys.
Yeah, I saw some pictures of the Buildtech. The lady from the Buildtech Czech, or I think his Twitter name is.
Yes,
Buildtech Czech.
Yeah, Tom, that was funny. I was like, now you know how it feels. Ah.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny because she'd obviously been lined up. Tinkers had said that she needed to go and give him a hug, I think. So she was kind of she was lined up to do that, and she'd spotted him, but she was in a conversation with somebody on the stand. So we'd kind of talked to somebody. Tom had introduced himself to somebody on the stand, and then we wandered off. And she suddenly appeared behind at breakneck pace and essentially ambushed him to get a hug. So yeah, that was quite funny. She'd actually spotted him, and then when she'd finished talking to the guy that she was on the stand, she'd followed him.
Yeah. And Kat, did you follow along what was going on social media, tweets and such, for the people that you knew were on?
Yeah, a little bit. I was a bit frustrated. I wanted to go, but my husband is on a business trip, and we still don't have anybody here that could take care about our cats. So yeah, I was a little bit frustrated, because I really wanted to go. I've never been to Great Britain, and so, but hopefully next year. But I followed along a bit, yeah.
Yeah. Same for me. I was watching out for tweets and such, and following your guys, what's happening, and also just Prusa tweets and some of the manufacturers' tweets. They were posting picture of people coming in the booths and such. So, do you know how many people were attending? How big is it?
Didn't space. Hard to tell.
Didn't see any.
Maybe 7,000 to 10,000 over the 3 days. Maybe it's maybe a good 2. It's going to be a good.
It stayed busy, didn't it?
It was busy. It was consistently busy. So maybe a good. I've been in that convention hall with a lot more people. I know how many was there for that. So I'd guess maybe 10,000 attendees over the 3 days. 7,000 to 10,000. I'd guess.
Yeah, okay, that's quite a lot of people. And it's a 3-day, and the last day was just today, or
yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
So
most of the people were like there for work, and they're on like serious, they're in their ties, business, the deployable.
According to the website, there was Miles is really good at this because it says there was 10,129 attendees.
Wow, that's a lot.
I've been in that hall. I've been in that hall quite a bit. I've been in that hall with like 120,000 people that I could like scaled it from there.
And to be fair, he's probably even more accurate than we think, because I was there twice. I had 2 badges, so I went in twice. So I was 2 attendees. I think you might have done that as well, man.
I forgot my badge. They just reprinted mine, so that's not. It doesn't count as 2.
Right.
But you had 2. You registered as 2 different people.
Yeah, you were at worst at the moment. We think you were 128 out with your estimate, which isn't bad.
I look at everyone. That's what happens when you're anxious. You just like look at everything all the time.
So has anybody of you ever been to Formnext? That is
no.
the big industrial trade show. I was there last year, and it's going to be in Frankfurt from the 13th of November until the 16th of November. I hope I can make it to that one at least. I will try, because of course that would be for me easier. I don't have to fly anywhere, and I think during that time my husband should be at home. So
and that's essentially the same thing, is it, Kat?
What?
That's essentially the same thing, is it? It's a trade show.
Yeah, but it's more industrial.
Yeah.
Last time when I was there, they really had these huge machines. I think that you might not see at the TCT. I think it's more end user, or was it also industrial?
No, TCT is mainly industrial trade show. You get the small ones. So, for instance, Martin mentioned that Biltac were there. Biltac were on a booth that was what, 2-3 square meters, something like that. Yeah. So they were very small in the big scheme. The big companies, the Stratasys, the HP. They all had big presences there. So.
Yeah, did the HP have their metal printer, the newly announced?
Multiple of them. Multiple of the fusion jet, whatever it's called. We can't afford it anywhere. They had multiple. They had not only the actual. No, I don't think HP had their own stand, because they announced it last year, and they had their own big stand right at the back in the middle.
That's right. Well,
they
were next
this
to
year, I think. Yeah, this year I think they had like 3 or 4 partners who had the machines and offered to either resell and support the machines. They had several incarnations of the machine.
Yeah, okay.
And multiple people came up. Whenever I was looking at it, the people on the stand would come up to me like, "Can I help?" No, I can't help you. It's so fine. I don't need. You're not even wearing a tie. I'm not talking to you.
Yeah. So there are maybe like a group of people that was all business, high-end industrial machines, and then you guys and Prusa and Piopoly and that maybe more commercial end user side of things.
Monoprice were there as well. So there were a few of the smaller ones. Cell Robots who think that they're kind of a little bit more than consumer, but they're not. So there was a few like their BCN were there. I'm trying to think more of the smaller manufacturers, Miles, printer manufacturers. There were a couple of new ones, and I guess the small business market was probably represented there rather than more so than the consumer. But you had 3D Primer had their rebranded Monoprice Mini, but other than that, there wasn't many. I don't think that were that end. But you did have some of the more the companies that you would expect if it was more of a UK version of Mirth. Were there as well. So you had like Ooze Nest there. They were showing some interesting stuff there. As I said before, George was there. He was there. Well, he's actually there, I think, with MVO. So there was a few of the smaller companies as well, but I don't think it's a cheap thing to attend. If Ben was on, I'm sure he could tell us.
They got rid of the startup zone. There was a startup zone last year. So I know a guy who got a stand on the startup zone last year, and it didn't cost much more. I think it was, it was in the hundreds of pounds for him to have like a shelf and a stand in.
Yeah,
but
and Alex from Protopasta was in that zone last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, I remember seeing him there. Yeah. My friend was like right by him, and they didn't have that section this year. The show actually shrank a little bit because it was physically had more stalls and more people exhibiting, so they've gone down in terms of number of exhibitors. And
that's because Ben's stall's not there. Ben had a big
stall. Was big, yeah.
And were there a lot of just filament manufacturers?
Yeah, we'll wait for Tom. We'll wait for Tom to get here. He'll go into that.
Yeah, okay.
It's a very very choice words to say about.
That's a nice thing. You can always go home with bags filled of probes and maybe also 1 or 2 or 3 rolls of filament. That's always awesome.
Yeah. So it gave me an 8-kilo spool of filamentum.
What?
Which was ridiculous. He wasn't kidding. I thought he was just joking. I thought he was genuinely joking until like 2-3 days before, and he's like, make sure you have a thing to do the thing. I was like, oh, and then it's just like, yeah. And I bought some bags. My bag didn't fit in my bags. I carried it. I carried it from Birmingham back to London.
Oh my god!
My car was doing that. My car was like that all the way down the motorway.
What?
Because this 8-kilogram spool was in the back, just weighing it down.
Yeah, that's you have to build yourself a spool dispenser.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store, buy a bunch of things to build something that I can actually house this thing on. It was good because I have some big projects, and I'm going to need to printing a bunch of stuff for like to be painted and sanded afterwards, so I can just set this up and just go for. I'm probably not going to finish that thing. We're going to be on like episode 200 when I finally finish this spool.
Yeah. So what colors did you get? Various or one?
It's gray. No, just one big gray spool, which is perfect.
The spool, only one single spool.
One spool with 8 kilos.
Oh god, that's sick.
Wait. I'll bring it. Hold on.
Yeah, please. That is something that I would love to see.
I think is it the silver? I think that it actually is the filamentum.
Yeah. And how did you see the SLA printer from Prusa?
Yes, yeah. I didn't see it running at any point. I don't know whether they had it running, but the example prints that they had, and I think a few people had said, "Oh, have a look at the Hulk head from when it had been in New York. If they've got the Hulk head, have a look at that. Oh my goodness." The quality. I mean, I'm really not interested because it's of the mess and the toxic and no, not for me. However, if anything was going to convert you, it's looking at the quality of them things on there. So yeah.
It's funny that so many people say that it's so toxic because I have one here from my and jewelry from Makix. It's a castable, and this one doesn't really stink.
Right.
And it is, and when you cure it, it has still some kind of elasticity to it. So if you want to set in some stones, because the jewelry makers, they set the stones prior to casting, so you can just snap the stones in there, then and dust everything, and then cast it. And this one doesn't really stink. And although not told, I did some experiments with it, not putting it in isopropyl and all. I even washed it off with Aquadest, and that also worked. So, and it's not so stinky. I think there's different varieties of this material out there. That some of them stink a lot, and some don't seem to stink that much.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see what he does in that space. They obviously bought the company they took their product, completely re-engineered it, and brought it out. And he's not really said much at the moment about the resins, about the materials that that they're going to be producing. So I mean, he may have announcements to come on that, and he has done something about the cleanup and about the curing with his wash stationing as well. So it's kind of he's obviously thinking about the whole end-to-end process.
It's like a whole system that they're going to sell.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 units: washing unit, curing unit, and printer.
I think the washing and curing is 1 unit. I think I can't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, from what I saw in the pictures, the curing station, you can remove the top lid to either it's a washing station or a curing station. So it's like a 2-in-1 device. Yeah, but like for me, I have everything here in the living room in a small apartment, and just the fumes of the isopropyl alcohol while washing things, fumes from the material. I could never have a system like that in the living room, and having my cats around, and I would need to have that out in the garage, I think. Yeah, it's not like in-house equipment. I think you need to have at least separate room for it with a window.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to see the print results. I would be really interested in this printer, but I cannot afford another one.
No, I guess it's kind of, it's cheaper than, it's more expensive than the Chinese ones, but it's cheaper than its, I guess, closest competitor from a quality point of view. And you would expect Prusa to bring the quality that you would want. So it's definitely one worth watching. I say it's not a technology that has ever appealed to me at all. But maybe, as you say, Kat, maybe if there's more widely available non-toxic, so that you've not got any issue with actually disposing of the stuff afterwards, and it could be going more mainstream, and Prusa's the guy to do that sort of thing, I guess.
Yeah, many of them have filters built in, HEPA filters. So I think that's what you should take care of when you buy one. And there's a Kickstarter campaign going on at the moment from DAS. Have you seen that? There's also a very nice resin printer, and it has an autofill system. So you just dump the bottle upside down in there and you dispense it by itself. So it seems to be quite promising.
That's like the same
DAS, DAZZ. And they already have experience with resin printers, and this is, I think, their second or third one that they're launching over this campaign. It's quite a reasonable price, and so it's below €1,000, I think.
Yeah,
but a medium and a pro version looks also quite promising. And they keep on posting pictures on a Facebook page where you can see the quality.
Are you guys ready for this ridiculousness?
Oh yes, go ahead.
This is actually dumb. It's actually dumb. It's great, but it's actually this filament tip we got a wrap if you need a big spool, and bear in mind, Ian will attest to this. I have a big head. This is dumb. It's amazing, but oh my goodness.
So it's all you need. You don't need any more filament at all. Just this one.
I think I'm good. I think I'm gonna be all right.
It's okay for the next couple of years.
Yeah. So you can stop trying to all the brands that hit me up on Facebook asking for spots and offering 2 rolls of filament. You can stop calling them now. I think I'm good.
Yeah, I love their filaments. They really make nice stuff.
So those were the samples they were giving out.
Yeah.
I think it's this one here, huh?
Silver.
Yes.
Yeah, it would be it's the same as silver RPLA. So it's the same.
Oh yeah, you see, I'm so happy with it. They can also give me a full roll with 8 kilograms if they want. I'm going to the stock really a lot.
It's honestly worth, right? If you're gonna print a lot with it, I think this is just over £100 retail.
Wow.
So if you're gonna buy like 8 spools of 1 kilo,
Yeah, if you have a big printer or a print farm or something, then it makes sense to get those big spools. Definitely.
When I was working at the makerspace this summer, I tried to get them to say, "Hey, when we run out of our filament here, we should get like 6 of these."
Yeah.
But that didn't end up working out too well.
Fernando's in the chat and he's asking about spool holders for that. So, Tom Jackson had, I think it was a couple of axle stands and a metal bar is how he had it set up. But I think you've got some ideas, Miles.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go and go to B&Q and just put together some. I'm probably gonna do 2. I'm gonna like put 2, I guess, upside down T's, and then drill a hole through the top and just put a metal bar through it. That should be all right. I might have to put some braces across the 2 ends, like 4 pieces of wood across the blunts, but that'll spread the weight out. Just need to get it high enough so it can rotate. All right, and it doesn't weigh too much. Right? It's like, I think it's like 10 kilos with the spool holder on it, with the plastic and everything, with the plastics. But like, I tell you what, I'm pretty out of shape, but carrying this around was a mission.
A great workout.
It was an actual mission, and
You had to earn it.
Yeah.
When anybody that's ever been to the Birmingham NEC arena will know that kind of you finish up parking a long way away from the hall, so you park up in the car park and you've got a good long walk to get in there. And Tom got that spool out the back of the car and then carried it into hall, and he starts off going, it's actually not that bad. It's not that bad to carry, but by the time we got there, he knew about it.
Yeah,
Put it down. We'll just have a little rest before we carry on.
The platform at Euston was very long. I deliberately went to the front of the train so I could not have to walk the length of the platform.
Fernando's now saying that he thinks you could probably use that as a replacement wheel for your car. So not just put it on axle stands, you could actually use it. It's not much of a space saver, to be fair, though. It's probably about the width of most car wheels.
It really is. Now that you mention it, it actually is. It's not really sank in how big this is and how much I'm gonna have to deal with it. But I did say I want to do a year-long full cosplay project, so we're quids in. We're ready to rock.
I thought you meant you were going to do a year-long print.
We could get a 0.1 mil nozzle, 20 mil. I think we can manage it. That'd be an interesting live stream.
Yeah, you could get one single print lasting for a year. Yeah.
Just go max build volume on a big rep with a 0.1 millimeter nozzle.
Yeah. Oh no, you don't want a big rep now. You want a Modix.
I remember saying that, right, when we were comparing the two, and we're like, we'd both go for the Modix, even though we could sit and build the Modix ourselves. Like everything there was within our expertise and ability to construct. It's like they were charging very, very competitive prices with big rep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
quality.
A tenth the cost of the big rep.
Yeah.
If that. So the Modix for
and probably 80% of that was labor.
Essentially, it's a kind of big build volume printer.
Yeah. So
and
check those
way
out. They ain't got.
Yeah, the way they were pitching it was there was a standard size that you could buy, but then they were also selling an extension kit which made it twice as wide, and it's very reasonably priced. I think even with that, it came in at less than £6,000, which sounds a lot to kind of us, I guess, from a home use point of view. But from a business point of view, it's literally competing with £25,000 machines. So
I'm on their website now, and it says Morbix Big 60 version 2 is out, and it's 610 by 610 by 610 build volume, and it costs $3,500 US.
Yeah, and then you add the extension on that makes it twice as wide.
Wow, even wider than that.
They were just printing a sword. They were straight up. Their demo print was just a full-size sword.
Oh. And Tom was having a good look at it. It's got a silicone heat pad across the two beds, and it's edge to edge. It's not like a lot of these ones where you get like the Creality ones where they're yay far away from the edges all the way around. This was edge to edge silicone heat pad. So really, really interesting looking piece of kit. So, I'll be doing the lottery this weekend just in case.
Okay, I'm reading it now here that they were at the TCT show and they showed off this double width one. Yeah.
It's a tax on the poor, Ian.
What was that? Sorry?
The lottery is a tax on the poor. Stay woke. Don't bet on things that are less likely than your own death.
It's a fair point. Just always with the downer, isn't he, Miles? You've seen that? Always with the downer.
Yeah.
I jump out of the back of the car into the wheelchair. Props if any of you get that in the chat, you're not boomers.
Yeah, and E3D was there with the tool changer. I saw that at Earth. Did they have anything else than the tool changer, like a new product?
They didn't have any new products. Last year they had the walk cord stuff. This year they were just showing off the tool changer. And go and look at Ian's tweet. It says video was better than mine that you recorded. That thing is it's a sexy piece of engineering. If you are into your engineering porn, it was very, very clean. Like, they say it's not ready for release, but it looks it.
Yeah, it looks very nice.
It shows you there's absolutely no wobble, no hesitation. It was engaging all day without missing a beat. Just the script that they were running was just change, move, change, move. They must have done it 3, 4, 5,000 times without missing a beat. It's just super duper solid.
Really nice.
Yeah, I've seen it at the meetup in Sweden and also at East Coast Web Rock Festival, and it's really nice. Yeah.
It is, and they probably didn't need anything else on the stand at all. They could have just put that on there, and everybody would have just been gawping at it. But they did have James Brunton, the X-Robot. He had his 3D printed and NC machined robot dog on there, which is a big old piece of kit.
Which is, anything that dude makes, it's another thing to see it in person. When you see it in person, it's like, this is ridiculous. When you see it on video, it's like, that's cool. See it in person, it's like, this is nuts. Like, you're a madman.
Is that the yellow? Yeah, the yellow thing. I saw some video today. It's crazy.
It's bigger than it looks in real life than on video too.
Yeah, okay.
It's like the size of a person.
I was watched sometimes the Boston Dynamics things, and those things are crazy.
Scary.
They'll be running around
right there, isn't it?
Yes, I think it's the next step is Skynet is born.
Definitely coming. Probably Miles that's programmed it.
Have you? I've crashed computers with 128 gigs of RAM because my memory leaks were that bad. I'm not a good coder.
Exactly, so that's the point, isn't it?
Skynet's good programming, not bad programming.
No, it's taking over.
It's evil, but it's good. It's a good piece. It's like the AK-47 is a good gun. Did terrible things. Made the guy who designed it literally kill himself. But it's a good gun.
True. Chris is on in the chat asking where Tom is, and we don't know. Maybe he's grooming his beard. Maybe he's on the phone to Joseph Prusia. Who knows?
Yeah.
He's maybe Skyping with Joseph.
Yeah. I saw he got a signed MK3 printer on the
bought it off the stand. He's just like, I'm having this, and he had to go struggle for like half an hour to go get the cash to buy it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So he bought the showpiece.
He bought it off the stand.
They had three. I think they had three printing at the show, and he bought because they did have kits that they were selling. Tom's in the chat now saying that I'm jealous. You're right, Tom. I am jealous. I wish you were Skyping me. But yeah, so there were kind of three machines that were printing there, and they were selling kits earlier in the show. But I think by day two they'd all gone. I think he was just desperate. You know, Tom just can't help himself. He has to buy a Prusia a week, I think now. So he just had to go and buy it.
Yeah.
But
he already had
that,
MK3.
Yeah, there was video evidence that he was getting free stuff before that as well from his pal Joe.
Yeah, I saw the powder coated sheet around his neck in your video.
Yeah, powder coated. Yeah,
he was wearing all the bling.
And surprisingly as well, you know, we took those photos and made that video quite late at night. Neither of us were drinking, so you know, difficult to believe, I know, but
yeah, I didn't see any like party pictures of you guys going out.
I think, you know, because Tom's a worldwide 3D printing superstar. I think he got invited to one of the big parties, but we didn't. But we did see some. I think there was some footage from the. It was maybe at the end of day one. They actually had a party at the venue.
That was for exhibitors only, not us plebs.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the exhibitors, and it looked like that might have got a little bit messy.
That's what happens when you give a bunch of people in suits free alcohol.
That's true.
Yeah, I was there last year. It was big fun, you know, in New York, Maker Faire. So they had this event at the Cat Lab, and then also one evening the rooftop party that was also really cool. And I was drinking beer with Joseph Joseph. Yeah, he wouldn't recognize me nowadays anymore, but I felt very important.
Yeah, I didn't realize because I'm on the younger side, so I've always been drilled into my mind about, now don't you binge drink. And when I go off to university, like, now remember, kid, don't drink. You're supposed to have like 2 units of alcohol a day maximum. All right, until I started working like in a restaurant, so I worked events for a while. And the first Christmas I ever worked at events, when I was doing Christmas parties, people in suits can drink. Like, you guys go hard, man. It's crazy.
It's when you do get it when people get let off the leash. You'll find that kind of maybe salesmen not so much because they get free, or they get the company to pay for them for the drinks all the time. So they maybe have an occasional blowout, but yeah, I mean you do see it with people that get the one-offs. They go to a trade show, you know, then they're normally just sat behind the desk all the time. Oh yeah, that can get crazy, I think.
It's just the accounts manager should not do shot at the bar. It just doesn't make sense to me. I see
the thing that I did miss. I don't know. I mean, you were talking to Miles on the last day, but the 3D meetup crew are the crew that are trying to get a more community based meetup organised. They've already had one this year. Earlier on, it was kind of absolutely the wrong time and the wrong place for me to get to, but they were there, and I think they were having a conversation on day 2. They were due to all meet up and have a conversation about how they get something like that in the UK. So, you know, similar to your MRFs and your ERFs.
Yeah, I think it's needed in this space. But we were arguing because Adam plans to do it in Birmingham. I said we should do it in London.
And yeah, and I think you're both wrong.
Right, but
And
London is the best.
You should be doing it in Scotland. I think that you should be doing it kind of Manchester, Leeds, that sort of that level of the country.
Yeah, the middle of nowhere.
No.
How you're experiencing the north-south divide in the UK. Right, this is a cultural thing for everyone who doesn't get it. Basically, we hate each other because of some arbitrary line that we can't agree where it actually is, where the north begins. There's like a whole bunch of memes about calling bread different things as well.
It's not because of the line, it's just because they're horrible people.
It's just because we have money down here and everything costs money. Yeah, we can sell freaking half ramshackled shack in the and it's like if it's 5 minutes from a tube station, you'll be like 200,000, 250,000, 225,000. And yeah. It's like when Tom and Rav from FilamentFrenzy were talking about their rents and their homes, and they just made me cringe. It's just like, how do you people you get all that for this much? I was just dying inside.
It's true.
Yeah, but I don't want to move. If I did move, if I got like a job, I wouldn't say no. If someone's like, oh, we got you, there's a 3D printing job, but it's in Leeds, like I would go. I could have my own 3D printing room. That would be nice.
It is good.
So you could actually afford a two bedroom house and just put all the printers in one room.
I'm just looking through my I've not got so much literature, but business cards that I picked up while we're there, and realised that I've got some of Tom's.
Oh, I've
got handed.
You want to see my stack?
Yeah,
that's mine.
That's because you went to all the stands that you didn't take us to.
I went. I'm not. That's not my job to take you to everywhere.
We were relying on you, and you just had a lion.
No, right?
You stayed in your bed when you were supposed to be taking us around.
If you want to, I gotta pimp this out because this lady was amazing, right? Barbara, right? If you like 3D printing pen art, this lady is off the chain, right? She had a stand, and she was saying how easy it was, and she has a book, and apparently the book makes it really easy. But this lady's 3D printing pen art. She had a tree. She just made a tree in the 3D print and butterflies and all kinds of really cool stuff. So go check her out.
I know Tom spent a good while talking to her as well. I was away trying to see other parts of the exhibition at that time, but he must have been there for a good 20 minutes at least talking to her, and the big butterfly things that she had on the tree and all that. It was really impressive, wasn't it?
Well, I've seen that on Twitter or Facebook somewhere.
Yeah,
it's really amazing what she does. Incredible.
Afro, Magic Goo, Form Labs, Lakita, not that one. Bond Tech, Create 3D, 3D GBRE, Pia Poly, RAM Peripherals, Race 3D, and Additive Manufacturing Summit. And I got about 4.4 people who are going to be, who've already agreed to do interviews for the podcast about their different companies and stuff.
Cool.
I got a lot of emailing to do on Monday, which I actually hate doing because emailing is such a boomer thing to do. So, why don't you people have WhatsApp? Just talk to them on WhatsApp.
It's not secure enough, man.
WhatsApp isn't secure enough.
No.
Isn't that encrypted all the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, and were there like people coming mostly from Europe, or were there any like from the Middle East or Asia, or
There's a couple of Asian companies. There's a couple Guangzhou, Shenzhen companies.
Yeah, there was a few Shenzhen companies kind of looked as if they'd booked the stand together, like 3 of them on there. Esun were there, weren't they?
Yeah, Esun, something called Make X. I'd never heard of.
Ah, this is the company here that I got my printer from. No, this one. The rescent printer.
All right.
They make nice stuff.
They did not have their resin printer on their stand. The stuff on their stand, the stuff on their stand was kind of like makeup up clones for 2013. So
okay.
I didn't
Make X with it, make and then X, huh?
Yeah.
So this is my.
Yeah, they didn't have that on the stand, which is surprising.
Really?
No,
That's
they had like a bunch of cheap stuff.
Okay.
It's confusing me. But there you go. Yeah. It was because of this. It was like Ian will attest this. Like the cheapest printer that I saw there. That was, it's like basically you weren't seeing printers under £1,000. Like it's not the place to find printers under £1,000. I don't think anything there.
There were quite a few. To be fair, there were a lot, but they were fairly condensed. So you had obviously Prusa.
I don't think a Prusa stand costs less than £1,000. Well, no, I guess MK3 kits do.
And the MK3 is under £1,000 as well.
Just. Brexit messing up my currency. God.
But Monoprice with their 3D printer had their branded Monoprice.
Yeah.
There was that weird company selling something for 150 quid, was it? And then
that was weird. Yeah, I was like, why is that a thing?
No, that was strange.
Yeah.
Monoprice
didn't bring Shane. Right, Shane, the tallest CEO in 3D printing. I did. I remember him from last year. And I'm still waiting for my email, Shane, about your insider program. I emailed you back, and I haven't heard anything in like ages. But I always remember for that from last year. Like the CEO of Monoprice for some reason, or at least the 3D printing part of Monoprice, is like 7 feet tall.
Right. They did bring the Delta though.
They did bring the Delta.
Looked nice. That looks like a nice printer.
Yeah, but I just remember like being at this time, being engrossed in the small Deltas. I think that was the time they launched that last year, and he just comes over, and is like, "Can I help you?" And I looked like at his chest, and then I'm like, "Oh, you are an enormous man." It's like I'd never spoke. He's the tallest person I ever spoke to in real life. It's like, what?
Maybe that's why they didn't bring him. Too intimidating.
I imagine how much he must struggle on a plane. He's lucky he's the CEO. You can afford business class. I don't think he could fit in economy. Genuinely, he'd be like with his knees in his chest.
I actually grabbed. I know not many people were grabbing them as we went past, but I did grab one of them, and with the fully intention of going through and looking who was there, and then going and seeing, and never did that. I
did get the thing. I haven't looked at it once.
Yeah, it's just a catalog of every one that was on site.
Yeah, basically they mini articles, and then there'd be you can see that on the page. It kind of lists all of the exhibitors and gives a bit of an overview of them. The one thing that I would say though is you had an awful lot of sharing, because I guess the biggest stands are quite expensive, so you did have an awful lot of companies sat lodging with somebody else. So for instance, George MVO was there with Bontech. Ravi Filaменtive were actually on with 3G Briar, are they called, I think?
No, 3G GPI. It's Great Britain and Ireland.
That's right, yeah. So there was quite a lot of that where people were kind of camped out at somebody else's stand. So the number of exhibitors listed and the kind of list of that doesn't really give you the full scope of what was there.
But when the booths are that expensive, it makes sense to make a share. Huh?
Yeah. Is it free for attendees?
Yeah.
Yeah. So So the expenses of everything is paid by the exhibitors.
Pretty much. I mean, it's one of these places where if you go in the car, it's quite expensive to car parking every day, but you know, it's really easy to get to within the country, within the UK anyway. It's well served with train station and airport, literally, you know, right on site if you like. So it's
you can literally just walk from the air. I went to the airport for lunch twice.
Yeah, okay.
there you go. That's 3 times that you ate while you were there, then, Miles.
Yeah, no, I did forget. Okay, so I at least ate 1 meal every day. This is a good thing. At least. I was like a headless chicken for a long time. But I gotta change hotel next. I'm not gonna go in there. Right, if you ever come in next time, at least in the city center, don't stay at the Ibis. I'm gonna try to pick another one next time. And annoyed me, man.
No, I stayed. It's about 3 miles away from there, but being in the car, it's totally different anyway.
Yeah.
I was just got. I know it's not an 8 kilogram spool, but I did get.
Oh.
Oh, you got the small sample.
I did get a sample. I think that was just. There was actually a bigger sample they were giving, and at the end of the day, I think they'd found a bag that they'd forgot that was full of them, and they were walking around finding people and just handing them out. That had 2. It was kind of a bigger bag with, I think it had the black and a red in there that they were giving away. But fortunately, when your best mate buys a printer and gets given a load free, I did manage to look into a full size spool. So
I like that spool design with the holes.
the spool design is good, isn't it?
It saves lots of weight, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's. I'll be trying that out soon, but yeah, Galaxy Black. Tom managed to pick up a couple of the unreleased colours because he bought the printer, and obviously anybody that's been to any of these shows will know that they ship an awful lot of stuff in. They don't want to necessarily have to ship it all back out, especially when they're not from the same country. So there was quite a lot of people giving full spools of filament away if you stayed right to the end. Tom, when he bought the printer, managed to get a couple of spools thrown in.
Yeah,
I would say with. Sorry.
Yeah, so yeah, the Galaxy Blacks, isn't that similar in color as the Prusa frame on the MK3?
This is
I
the same
guess
one.
it's black. You know, it is black. It's like if you can imagine, Vertigo grey, but instead of grey, it's black. It's kind of like that, ish.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Does it have some sprinkles in there? Is it gloss?
Yeah, it is sparkle.
Sparkles.
Yeah, I was given a full role for some reason that I still don't quite understand.
It's because you were with the right people, Miles.
Yeah, because I've never used any of Filamentum, and obviously Ian and Tom are big champions of it, so I will be doing some of this tomorrow.
Prepare to have your mind blown.
I've not printed with any of these glitter additives either, so I grabbed the profile from Tom. So tomorrow's gonna get crazy.
Excellent.
I'm gonna print some. I need to print these lens covers for my Oculus Go because I'm tired of putting socks in the lenses every time I take it anywhere. And the 3D printing community, someone with actual modeling talent, has put together a really nice lens cover. So I'll be trying that out on this because this is sort of it's aesthetic. So I'll be actually maybe even shipping them because I got a whole nother project with the Oculus that we'll talk about maybe after this proper stream is over. Not 3D printing related technically. Well, not even technically, not at all.
Hey, we have Tom.
Hi.
Hey, Tom.
I've got a new mic, so it might not be working.
Yeah,
Sound
Mike,
good.
That sounds great.
sound is good. Yeah, so
I'm not-
as you are joining in, you can do your introductions.
Yeah, so I'm Tom, FilamentFrenzy from the Twitters, YouTube, Instagram. Sorry I'm late. I was getting a matching tattoo to Joseph Prusa. And yeah, I've just been to TCT. I just came back yesterday, and it were awesome, absolutely awesome. I didn't get any leaflets, stickers, or out like that like Ian did because I was just too busy shouting at everything, saying it was awesome and taking a picture, and yeah, there was just so much going on.
Yeah, and I see you have a new printer right next to you with a signed frame from Prusa.
Yeah, that were awesome. It were. I saw on day 2, I saw a guy buy a kit, and I thought, oh, well, you never know. So day 3, I fancied buying one, and then when I went over, there were no kits left. So I said, and it wasn't Joseph Prusa I spoke to; it was somebody else that was on the stand from the day before, and I said to him, I want that one, and he said that's all right. So then I had to go. Obviously, it's only cash because it's on a show, so I had to go try and get the money out to get it. Which thankfully there were a bank near, so I managed to sort that out. And yeah, powder coated PI came home on an MK3, and I got another one. Prusa gave me a sheet on the first day, which is on my original MK3 with the multi material. So it's like it's complete now. It's over there. It's not over there. So yeah, so now it's like everything's complete. So I've got both of them sat there, and one of them signed Prusa for the win.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's good. Cool. Yeah, and how do you find the powder coated sheet?
Oh, it's awesome. It's like the only way I can refer it, and I'd probably like feed the trolls with this, is like ultra base, anacubic ultra base. When it warms up and then it lets go and it gets cool, well, it's like anacubic ultra base as in that theory, but it works on a whole different level. The adhesion, from what I've seen so far, is fantastic. And you don't have to flex the plate. If you let it cool down to about 35, 42 degrees, you can literally just pop it off like that. They're both printing at the moment. One's printing in Prusament blue, and the other's printing in Prusament Mist pink. And then I've got the Galaxy black here.
Wow.
It looks like Vertigo grey on the spool. It's hard to capture it, but when you print with it, it's a black base with like a silver glitter and like a light grey glitter. It's a really nice filament.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like a 2-color in the glitter flakes.
Yeah, so the flakes inside are silver. There's like light silver, and then it's almost darker silver. So it's like 2-tone. But when it prints, with it being a black base, the silver really pops out. It's quite a cool looking thing. And the spool, like everybody's talking master spool and cardboard spool. I think that we all thought the plastic spool was bad, and I think he's took it to another level because this spool uses 50% less plastic than a normal spool of this size. And with it having a cardboard core in the center, when you finish, you can actually squash the spool down. So it's only a couple of centimeters high. So although the waste is the same, the actual physical volume that waste takes up is a lot less. Even down to inside, there's a thing where you can store the filament so it stays flat, and then you can stack the rolls on top, because with most others where you have the holes, you have the little bit, and once you get to 3 or 4 stacked high, they're sort of everywhere. So I feel like that spool there is the ultimate plastic spool. I don't think it'll get any better. So I think it's this, and then the development from this onto sort of cardboard for everybody to sort of get rid of the plastic. But I think the fact that Prusa has got cardboard in his spool shows the fact that cardboard can be a thing.
Yeah, it looks cool. And we were waiting on you to show up, really talk about filaments and filament companies that were on the show and what was happening in that space. So you maybe enlighten us or what was going on filament-wise.
Filament company-wise, it were a mixed bag. There was some really sort of revolutionary stuff there. There was some diamond filaments and stuff that we know of. Am I still there?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. I thought my screen went blank for a second.
Yeah, it flickered back and forth a little bit.
So, yeah, no, there were loads of filament companies there. There were a lot of filament companies with the same filament. There he is, Mr. Diamond. And yeah, there was a lot of material that was the same, like rebranded, some on cardboard spools, some on plastic spools. And I was shocked by that because I didn't expect to see like launch day of like the biggest 3D printing show to have the same material. But when I asked a few of the people there about this, their point of view is that regardless whether they're selling the same material, they're in different markets, and it's a fresh material for them and it's a reliable source. So at TCT as a whole, it didn't make sense, but in the marketplace, it would. But there was so much stuff to look at, and there were so many printers, there were so many different things. Like there was a paper thing, a paper printer, and it was like 3D printing Iceland's dream. And basically, it printed paper in layers like this, and they had a landscape like what Marteinn paints, and it was like a 3D printed landscape, but it looked like it had been printed on a regular A4 color printer. So the quality was fantastic, but it still had the 3D object to it. But I think me and Miles nearly fainted when we found out the price.
Yeah, okay.
I heard about this. I heard about it.
It's the M-Core. And they announced it. They announced it at 6,000. I'll never forgive you. I actually went to the bank, M-Core. I actually went to the bank and was like, "Yo, can I get a little something to buy me one of these?"
Was it £6,000?
They announced it at 6,000, ended up being 16,000.
Whoa, 16,000.
Yeah. Miles actually said that to the person. He said that, so we're going to get one at £6,000, and then they tried to say, "Oh, well, we've changed some things," and 6,000 to 60,000. What did you change?
16,
did you gold plate it?
16, not 16. They got 10 times.
It's crazy.
16, crazy.
Yeah, that's like. You know, I might go back to uni, so I can't be borrowing that much money again. Thanks, Boomer.
Yeah, with those companies that are having was it the same manufacturer and just rebranded?
Yeah, basically a manufacturer had come to market, and they'd found they basically made. There's a range of about, I think there's 8 glitters in total. I don't think any of the companies have took the full range, but obviously I can't comment on that. And I think as they've contacted like the retailers and so on, these have seen this material, because I've actually got 5 spools of it in different colours, and it is a really nice material. It prints well. The glitter content's fantastic. It is good material. And then I think all of the guys that they've contacted have sort of said, "Oh yeah, we'll take some of that. We'll take some of that. We'll take some of that." And then I put a picture out there to say that I'd got this in this brand, and then a few other people contacted me to say, "Oh, we've got this coming. We've got this coming." So I suppose it's exciting times, and it gives them a glitter base. Like there's a company in the UK selling it, and for me to have glitter like that available just sort of next day is really cool.
Yeah, and Chris was asking in chat, did you see a lot of master spool adoptions?
I only saw one master spool, the master spool itself. It wasn't actually a coil. I'm not saying there wasn't any there, because I really didn't see everything, and that was on Rigid Ink stand, and that was it. Other than that, I didn't see. I personally
were announcing it, weren't they? They actually announced it at the show that they were supporting Master Spool.
Yeah, I think I saw their tweet on it. Yeah.
I think there's a few others. Not everybody by any means. I also talked to Richard Horn. I talked to a few other companies, and there's mixed opinions, I guess, on it. And I know Tom's isn't a fan of it, and I don't use it in the way I guess that the standard would expect. But certainly, I like it. I use it. I like it. It's a cheaper way to buy filament. It just really depends on how well the company have actually put the spool together, put the refill together.
Yeah, I saw a comment from Joseph Prusa on he was really focused on getting a perfect wind of the filament on his spool, and for that reason he didn't want to create a refill just because the filament wouldn't wind correctly.
But look at that wind though. Just look at it.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's not normal. But I would say there is other companies that are like this, like Filamentum, for instance. Filamentum, that's natural for them. That's their bread and butter. They are the same sort of they are the same tolerance and the same wind quality, It's just not. It wasn't part of their marketing. They don't shout about that. But I think they will do from now on because yeah, it's really nice.
It is one of them things that people, I guess, previously nobody has used it as a marketing ploy. It's just like, you know, I just accepted that that's the quality that they should produce. But you know, Bruce has kind of led the way with that, and I think, as Tom says, I think others will follow suit. Even, you know, what's seen as being a budget brand, 3D Primer, was showing spools that look that good. Not all of the spools by any means, but they were showing spools. Some, I can't remember what the premium brand.
Prima Select.
So they looked, the spooling on those looked as good as that as well.
Yes, 3D Primer, is that a Swedish company?
Yeah, I have one of these.
That's it,
I'm
yeah.
gonna unbox it tomorrow in silver.
Yeah, I still have to try that out.
The Prima Select's really good quality. It prints really nice. The rainbow stuff's good, and I got a spool off them, and that was the new neon rainbow. So before I've got the pastel one, now it's neon. And I also got that glitter filament that I've got. They had a different color that I didn't have from someone else. So I got, it's like a green color, like a aqua green. So I picked that up as well. And I'll be putting with both of them tomorrow. But it's really, the Select stuff is really nice quality.
Yeah, I have to check them out.
I'm just obsessing over the where you can take your spool and you scan your spool and you can look at exactly the tolerance all the way down on the website. I think that's absolutely amazing that you can do that.
I honestly thought that for you, Tom, it would have been a live chat with Joseph if you scanned that QR code.
Yeah, it does. Personal Skype call.
It goes down and pulls the stats off the line for you.
Yeah. So it's because I saw some pictures on the spool itself. It shows like a graph of the tolerance.
Yeah, this is you scan this QR code, and what I'll do is I'll scan it and I'll pull it up on my phone so you can have a look. Give me a second.
I'm just about to buy this Galaxy Black.
Oh, it's amazing.
I have a window open here left to the video in the middle, and I'm just about to hit the buy button. But I don't know if I should add maybe another roll.
It does look really nice, and the good thing is that the two that I think are the best colours are the ones that Tom's printing on his two printers in view there. But unfortunately, they're not released yet, so you can't buy them. So you might as well just buy the Galaxy Black.
Which one? The pink?
The Ms. Pink and the.
Yeah, but it's on the website.
Yeah, I think you can buy them. You can buy the Ms. Pink, and the other one's turquoise blue. But some of the other stuff that they had is amazing. But Prusa will also still stock the the Filament PM, which was their previous manufacturer of filament, and they'll stock that as like a budget range, like Prusa budget, and then it'll obviously be the Prusament above. But PM makes some nice filaments. There was like a translucent one there that was color shift pearlescent. So from the filaments that I saw on the stand, some of them were amazing. Like a metal flake blue, that was fantastic as well. There were just too many to even mention. I wanted to take all the lions home.
Now that you've printed with the pink, Tom, how does it compare? Because it looks on the stand, the lion looked very similar to the kind of finish you get with polyalchemy.
It is a very similar finish, but I think the finish is achieved differently. I think it's more pearly, if that makes sense. It finishes with, like, imagine when you print like a chrome silver and you have that reflective look. It gives you that feel, but it's not that polyalchemy shine. It's not consistent across it all. The shine is dependent on the light as it hits it. So I think it's more pearlescence and fine powders that give that effect. But it does give that similar look, but obviously it prints a lot better for me. And the colours are really bright and really vivid.
Does it? Watch my keeping my straight face now, Tom. What's the layer adhesion like on it?
Oh, it's fantastic.
Not comparing it to anything else whatsoever.
No.
I think Prusa releasing his own filament book is going to cause a lot of pressure now on the other filament producers. What do you think?
Yeah, it's what he does, isn't it? He shakes the game up.
Yeah, and his pricing is aggressive, I think,
Mm.
for those tolerances and quality control in the production line.
Well, they're going to be going on Amazon within a month of the release of which they've started. So I think once they go on Amazon, that'll change it as well, because that'll make it accessible worldwide, sort of cost effectively.
Have they said that they're going on Amazon worldwide? Because I heard, the only thing I heard him talk about was Amazon in the US.
Yeah, well, I thought the same, and I read it on the release earlier, and the release doesn't say which country, but I thought US. But again, I don't have issue. I ordering from Prusa to here, the shipping's more than reasonable. But like when I order Filamentum direct. I used to order that from Spanner Hands, but Spanner Hands is doing his own line of filament now. So if I order Filamentum, that comes direct from the Czech Republic. But again, that's a good thing because you get all the latest batches. Like for instance, every spool of Filamentum now comes with a sticker in it, and it also comes with a Magigoo sample. So it's like Magigoo samples galore. You don't ever have to buy it anymore.
Yeah, I use Magigoo on my CR10, and it lasts very long. We put quite a lot of it on, and it lasts forever on the sheet. So the samples, you get three or four samples, you're good for a month.
I don't use it very much. I tend to use it with FlexFill and possibly CPE and PETG, which I don't print an awful lot of. But I don't know if you can make out, I'll get that to the camera, how much of that has been used.
Yeah, just a tiny bit.
It's kind of up to there.
Yeah.
I was given that free at TCT last year.
When I was spreading it on the bed, the foam, the top came off, and I had a big soup on my build. I was so angry. And then I was picking it up, putting it back in the bottle.
Did you contact them? Tweet them?
Oh my God. I was so angry. I lost half of the bottle doing so,
Send them a tweet. They'll send you a new one, I guarantee it.
Yeah, that happened to I've seen that were on the original bottles. Apparently that happened. The tops came off. Nick Daimler, Bugman 140, happened to him, and I think he tweeted them, and they sent him a new bottle fresh out and said apologies, and I don't think he's had that issue again.
Yeah. No, they'll definitely send that. I've had one as well. I've had a similar issue but mine was just the foam on the top came away, which I think, in retrospect, I think was probably my fault. I think I probably applied it while the bed was hot. And obviously that's going to melt the glue that holds that foam on. So, but again, they reached out and sent me a replacement bottle. So that's at work, incidentally.
I see Country 3D in the chat's just got his Prusament fix with a touch of Rapunzel silver.
Yeah.
Rapunzel silver is amazing. I like that. That's a unique filament. That.
Yeah. Cool. And Don has joined. So welcome, Don. Yeah, I was trying to make an order from Prusa website using my Bitcoin wallet, and I'm not sure if it went through or not.
Just Bitcoin problems.
Yeah, I got a email from my wallet. It's an online wallet saying the withdrawal was successful, but the Prusa site is still saying waiting for payment. So I don't know what happened.
Bitcoin, it's going to change the world, guys. It's going to change the world.
Yeah, so I'm not very optimistic. The Bitcoin just lost in transaction somewhere.
It's just the blockchain. The blockchain for Bitcoin is not an actual usable blockchain anymore. It really isn't.
Yeah, I don't know. They said it took like 35 minutes to go through, but it's been several hours and still not.
Yeah. So. Like most people I know who use crypto, or especially Bitcoin and any popular coin, Litecoin, they're using exchanges to conduct their transactions. Especially if they're not very techy, they're just using exchanges to do the transactions, which is just a bank.
Yeah. I had a this is maybe a little bit off topic, but I had a wallet, online wallet that I was trying to use for it. It was like a service.
When I paid for almost my first year of university accommodation with Bitcoin back in like 2012, and I had a USB ledger, and this is the whole thing. Like, the whole point was for you not to have banks, and now it's just a bank. It's dumb. You're in Iceland, right? You should be upset, Martin. They're throwing up your energy bills.
Yeah. Actually, the mining, we have a big mining sites. They have a special agreement with power companies on getting different rates. So the rates for like my home hasn't changed, even though the Bitcoin industry is getting really big here. So it's not affecting me.
That's good. They need that geothermal juice, huh?
Yeah, we just drill a hole in the ground and get energy. So energy consumption is not a problem in our country. We just get it from the ground.
So what was the ones that, like, Miles, what were the best thing you saw at TCT? And like same for Ian, what were the best thing that you saw that you'd like to look further into? Or if you were to buy, if you were a machine, if you were to buy a new machine, is there something that you've seen that you want, that something that really excited you?
I'd say in terms of machines, it was the Moai. I've been peeping it for a while, and because it's one of those things that it's not a huge brand with a huge customer base yet, you can't go and see a Moai. You know, I didn't even have anyone in London that I could go who I knew had one. The only one I knew had one was Evan, and he was at the stand as one of their representatives. So it was good for me to finally be able to look at that machine and see the quality and see how good it uses. I do want to get a resin printer, so it was really nice to be able to see that. That was the main reason. That was like the main machine, and the tool changer was nice because I don't know. I want to see how much the tool changer is gonna cost, because I need to put some. I need to be. You know, I think I was saying this on the last stream, that I'm trying to liquidate some of my cheaper printers and get like one or two quality machines. So I want to see how the tool changer ends up versus an MK3.
Buy TiVo.
Oh, what did you say?
Buy TiVo.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that.
I mean, at the moment, E3D are only making, are only saying that they're going to make it as a reference platform, the tool changer, aren't they? So, you know, it really depends which manufacturers
if it
pick
looks
up
like,
and run with that.
If it looks like, I know they said that I remember speaking on the stand, and they said that they would be selling like kits with all the hardware and stuff to do most of it, and they have quite a good selection. Yeah, you can build a whole 3D printer on E3D's website. I don't know if a lot of people know that, but they have like the gear to make everything that you need, especially now that they carry Duet. So, and you'll need a Duet for the tool changer. So if I could build a tool changer printer for £2,000-ish, I would jump on that. But if it's like starts pushing over that, then I'll probably go the Prusa route. I'm just throwing my pennies into a jug and trying to sell some of these cheaper 3D printers to try and get something solid. Because what I do, like, there's CR10s and stuff, and I've got like a BQ Magician and some other things. It's like, it's effort to get good stuff out of these printers.
Yeah, I would love to have one of those, but I'm simply not able to build it. I would love to install a Duet Wi-Fi on one of my Delta printers, but so it's a problem. I've never done this kind of stuff.
I'm the same. I'm the same, Kat. That's the same with me. With the excitement for the tool changer, when it was first announced is like it were a system that you put on a printer. But I'm not a hardware guy. I print things. I don't solder things. I don't put duet boards on. So all of that frustration, like you, like at the Bondtech stand at TCT, George from Envio asked to take the CR10 because a friend of mine, Greg, had made a Bondtech direct drive system for the CR10. And the reason I was able to test that out was because it was plug and play. So you undid your old wires and you just literally plugged them in with the cables. So I'd love to see more features come like that where people can work on the machine so that like people like myself or you can do those sort of things in a simpler fashion, in a much more plug and play where we can buy a base and we can build off of that with different packages that suit us.
Yeah, but at least you would have to adapt your firmware, huh? Marlin, or I don't know. But that would be, if you have a guidance, you know, I just need a guidance. I think I could do it, but I need a guidance, you know, somebody that leads me through, and then I could do it, you know, because I built various printers for myself, and they're running, and so, but if it gets too complicated, then I don't know what to do.
Yeah, like for the Moai, Chris at Practical Printing, he did really the step-by-step episodes of how to create the printer from the beginning to end. So like people are doing tutorials on how to do it, so you could follow along a video tutorial by Chris on the Moai. If you are interested in the printer, you definitely could use that. And more people have done live streams on their builds, and there's plenty of video content to get you through it.
Many of them are not so clear. You know, I've watched some videos about Marlin upgrade, but still I don't understand it. You know, they're talking too fast, or they're leaving away something, or it's for a different printer that might not be the same like what I'm looking for, and so yeah, this is not easy.
Going back to Tom's question about what was that excited me as a next machine, I don't think for me again the same. The tool changer looks really good. From a work point of view, there were a few things that I was interested in, and we'll probably be kind of talking to the various departments within our company that are looking at 3D printing. The Modics that we talked about earlier on, from a size point of view, certainly seems worth looking at. But there wasn't really anything, I don't think, from a machine point of view that really excited me on there. MMU2 maybe. I mean, that, you know, it just looks. I just love the look of it. I love that it's a mechanical solution.
I just adjusted my camera for you there. Look, you can see it now. Look, just there.
Nice. If you show me, if you can adjust your camera well enough to show me the ball bearing with the fender, then I'll be really impressed. But no. So I don't think there was anything from a machine point of view, and I guess the only one that I saw that I went, oh, I'd like that, was probably that monoprice Delta. And that's just because of the Delta fetish, I guess. Although saying that, there was the Delta on the is it Filament PM?
No, that's mine. That's mine.
I know you want that, Tom.
That's mine.
That also was.
Is it the small one, the tiny one,
no,
or
no.
a new one? So they have something new.
It's a Trilabs Delta, but the one, the mini one, the mini monoprice, that looked cool.
No,
that's cute.
Ian, you're forgetting about your big CR10 thing that were like this big.
Yeah, I didn't like that. It was interesting, but yeah, not for me. But I don't think certainly in the hobbyist, the enthusiast space, I don't think there was anything. And as Miles said earlier on, there wasn't really any big announcements. When I was checking to find out just how accurate Miles's assessment of the number of people were earlier on, it mentioned that there was 35 product announcements, but I don't know what they were. They kind of obviously weren't anything that was blowing our minds. It could well have been things like the master spool refills for Rigid Ink was one, and the rebranding or the co-branding that Filamentum are doing as industrial, maybe, and they had a few materials that they were talking about that were new. So stuff like that. And I think so. If you went into the into that side, then it is, you know, it is a cop out for me. I guess it's the very obvious thing for me to say. What excited me in the filament side, and the answer be something from Filamentum, but it was so they had sat on the stand there. They had some flexible vertigo grey, which yes, please.
Flexible vertigo grey.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
I didn't see them doing any shouting about it. I'm not sure whether they were shouting about it when they were in New York, because they were mainly focused on the more technical materials. I don't know whether Tom wants to take a buy on this and just let us talk about it, or whether he's able to show and tell. But
I'm saying nothing. I don't even know what you're saying.
Nothing. About. Okay, you said nothing. But it was sat there. There was two new colours of FlexFill, Vertigo Grey, and there's a green, and they are both of them are really nice. But the Vertigo Grey, flexible Vertigo Grey. I mean, what more could you want?
Yeah, and Tom, you're maybe off camera at the moment, but I want to ask him about the signature on this 3D Meganube. Was Joe the 3D Meganube at the show?
No, he was there last year, but he didn't get there. I think there's a sad tale around it, but no, he didn't get there this time round. I think apart from anything else, I think he's just recently started his new job, hasn't he? So it was perhaps a bit soon for that as well.
Yeah. I saw he was talking about a new job. Yeah. So he's been in and out of normal jobs besides this 3D printing.
Absolutely. So yeah, no, that I guess I don't think that you could say overall there was nothing, certainly nothing in the machine side new that was mega exciting, but you know, there's some interesting filaments. If you like the more technical filaments, there's an awful lot of interesting stuff coming in the market, I think. So well worth looking at that. The filaments that Tom was talking about, and yeah, I did manage to pick up a few of these, and these are all the sparkle filaments. So some nice tones in the sparkle, I guess, and that one's a darker grey, and then
Yeah, I have that one. That's nice.
yeah, and then the red that is actually brown. And funnily enough, I also have another spool sat on a printer here that I printed off the other day. It's a cardboard spool, and I printed some of that, and it's the same stuff as Tom was saying. So there's about 6 manufacturers, I think, that are currently doing it. I don't know if I can just get that on there.
But saying that, I asked the guys at 3D Prima about that, and they said that they'd added some impact modifiers to their versions. So maybe they changed the makeup of it slightly to their standards, but the colours and the pigments were the same. And that grey material that we were talking about, yeah, it's nice. And yeah, they released it at the TCT, and they've got plans to release it, I think, fully. That'll come out in the next time. Obviously, they're just traveling back from the Czech Republic. Everything will be getting settled down, and then no doubt they'll hit it out. But I know it wasn't a secret, as in when it was at the show, you could take pictures, you could tweet it, you could play with it, you could do it, and many people saw it, so there's no reason why you guys can't.
Yeah. And I made a beeline to it because they'd actually printed one of my designs, which I think I've given away the other one, but they asked me to come up with something that they could, similar to one of my other designs, so that they could show off flexible stuff. And literally they had the two things on that stand printed on my design. So I kind of made a beeline for it and picked it up and went, oh, Vertigo Grey, and yet it's squishy in my hand. Fantastic. So it was there for anybody to go and see as well.
I'm glad that one's out, because I've had that one a while. That's been
exactly
been a hard secret as that one.
Oh.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about the diamond nanoparticles or something. in the filament?
Yeah, there's a few different companies that are bringing nano diamond technology into 3D printing for PLAs. And what it does is it prints like PLA. The manufacturers claim that it doesn't require a hardened steel nozzle because of the shape of the beads, as they call them, the shape and the size. Now, when I tweeted about this, I got a lot of backlash of people saying it's physically impossible. Now, I'm not a chemist and I can't concentrate and I can't comment really on it. But what I can say is I've printed nearly 3 kilo of it on the Prusa that's printing in pink now. And as you can see, it's printing fine in normal PLA. If you'd have done that with copper, for instance, or a metal fill, it'd have destroyed it by now. But yeah, they're doing it so that it prints like a creamy white, and it's just so that you can have easy print industrial materials that are harder wearing. So, for instance, if you had like a wire cover in a factory floor that people were going to be walking on often, but you didn't want it to be a difficult print, you could print it in this PLA and it'd be harder wearing than what a standard PLA would be, for instance. There was a couple of companies there with that. The ones I've got, one of them's released, that is called Nanotech, and one of them's from a company that are playing with different types of materials. And yeah, one of the companies were there from it, and it seems a good thing. I can't see a use for it for me personally. It does have a little bit of sheen to it, a little bit of glitter. It's a nice thing to have, but I can see a place for it in the market. I just don't think us hobbyists will like it because it's not exactly the most sparkliest thing ever, but it is a white glitter. I'd love to see a white frosted glitter, and it's pretty close.
Yes. So the use case for this is wear resistant. That's
much more harder wear resistant. I think it's not as wear resistant as other materials that are designed for that use, but I think when you couple it with PLA properties that you can print just like PLA, you print a little bit higher, 225 rather than say your 210 or your 215. So it works much better for that sort of application. But again, you could use some of the harder wearing material to still print the same application. But I think it just opens up, and I think it gives more avenues and more options.
Yeah. So for mechanical parts, it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Can I just say, all right, Ian and Tom have been getting me into Filamentum since the show, and I'm just printing that lens cover now. It's stuff. Sexy, one, and two. Your filament profile, Tom, is making me think about selling this CR10 now. This is nice. This is nicer than it's ever printed. This is literally just the white on the side, and it's got a cool. This is my first sparkle filament, so now maybe I'm understanding, but this is already looking good.
It's them aqua glitters with the blue base and then the aqua glitter. That's it. It's a cool filament.
And I'm going to try the Magic Glue tomorrow on a bigger print. I've had this £1 bottle of hairspray for like 4 years.
The trick with the CR10 is to print the infill fast and really slow the outer layer down, because you'll get a lot of moai on the outside. But if you slow it down, it's absolutely fine. But again, just get them speeds up in the infill. And Filamentum likes to be printed hot. I print all Filamentum at 215. And then the crystal ones like the Smaragd, the Crystal Clear, Iceland Blue, I print all them at 220, 225. Or if I'm mixing it with CPE, for instance, like dual extrusion, I'll pick colours like Vertigo Grey, Vertigo Galaxy, because they can actually go up to 235, 240 quite comfortably without sort of breaking down and sort of getting overcooked. So for that sort of temperature, because when you print it with CPE, you need to print it hotter to make them stick together.
Is Starlight the same, Tom? I've still not even broken the seal on my.
Starlight, on V2 it printed well at like 205, but then when they made the glitter smaller for the new one, they made the glitter smaller and put a lot more in. It went back up to 215 and it printed again really nice. You just have to make sure your travel speeds aren't too fast, because you'll get some little pulls on it, because you are printing it a little bit higher than giving it a little bit more flow. But if you account for that, the surface finish you can achieve much better.
Now just find me a way to make my actual CR10 perfectly level.
See you later, Walter. Have a good night.
Yeah, see you, Walter.
You obviously need Tom's level test.
Yeah, Miles. Level test.
Send me that, please.
Yeah, you tweak it on the fly. So you print it. It's 2 outer squares that are the full build volume, but they're just 2 parameters. And as it prints them, you get it so that it's either inconsistent or consistent all the way around, so it's exactly the same. And then you just drop the height with the S3D Z offset, and it'll give you a perfect first layer.
I got to print that adjustable offset you had as well.
Yeah, it's nice that just gives you that, like, I rarely use the sort of adjustable offset, but when, for instance, you have a situation where you're swapping a build plate or you're jumping over from one surface to another, it's so easy from a nozzle from anything to just adjust it on the fly, because you know your bed's level. A lot of the problem of the time is that you'll put a new build tack surface on, and then you'll be trying to undo the screws and you'll be chasing yourself around, but your bed's already level. So always trying to adjust the Z offset, and you're only going to lose 1 millimeter or so of build volume, which is insignificant.
Do you have a test for the mini as well as the full size?
Yeah, I can do it for the mini. I'll just change the size of it in the slicer, and then I'll send you it as a G code, so you can just print it, have it on your card always.
I probably shouldn't start this print now, as I actually could sleep in this room. So probably not the best idea.
Have you bought a TiVo yet?
What?
he just heard did he bought a bee?
Who? That's what he was saying earlier on, though, wasn't it? That he was going to sell all these other printers so that he could buy a quality one. That he must have meant TiVo when he said that.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, what I heard it also.
No, I'm sorry, you guys started speaking Icelandic. Martin, what did they say?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, you know, I love you guys, and I like you even more now that we met. But sorry,
I'm just going to jump off for a second because my all my screens are backwards, so I keep looking over there, but over there is actually over there, and it's making me feel disoriented. So just give me a second, I'll come back.
Yeah.
He's saying that, and yet we all know that what he's doing is he's Skyping Joseph Prussia.
Yeah, he's getting an update on the new material on spool.
Wow. Joseph is obviously sat watching, and he's like, "Hang on a minute, Tom's not repping me enough. He needs to sit up a bit straighter so you can see that signature."
Yeah, on the 3D Maker shirt.
I don't know if everybody's watched the video that I posted today. Although saying that, I think Tom posted it as well, because I sent him the clip of the video. So when he was getting his shirt signed and his frame on his Mark III signed, I videoed it, and the little look after Joseph signs his shirt and says it's so smooth. The little look they exchange, I don't know. I think there's maybe a burgeoning romance there.
Yeah.
We don't judge here.
Louise is saying that he's gone outside to kick the dog that keeps barking. I hope it's not one of your dogs, Louise.
Yeah, talking about pets, I accidentally locked out my cat on the balcony 2 days ago, overnight.
Oh no!
It was pretty cold in the morning when my wife got up. She just saw a cat on the window. Just, please help me, let me in. So I felt really bad.
Oh my god!
When I was just leaving, I did find actually one of the business cards that was given to me instead of all the ones that I've got of Tom's. One of the things that we did see was a company that have done. Again, it's a more expensive printer than a typical hobbyist market, but Swiss 3D Tech. I've got some really nice looking machines that they've got a lot of IDEX ones, and they look like BCN Sigmas, but with the engineering done right. And the one that we saw printing, it had essentially a really solid looking frame around the top, and everything's attached to that solid frame, so that the outside case, if you like, that can move wherever it wants, and the thing stays solid. So it does look, they look really good. Didn't catch the price on them, but I think they're probably in the kind of the BCN price range anyway. But they were really good. So that's Swiss 3D Tech there as well. They have quite a big stand actually. I don't know whether you spent any time looking at them, Miles.
I don't think so. No, I don't remember this.
You're kind of. I mean, if you imagine you took a Sigmax and a Sigma and squared them off, so they've not got the fancy curvy frames; they've got square frames. But they also had doors on them, so that they were kind of enclosed for.
Designed by an engineer, not a designer, is what.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. That's kind of how they look. So that was definitely an interesting one. These other ones are, and the other thing that was. There was a couple of places that we saw these, and again, if you're into hot ends, if you're into building your own printers, there was a couple of interesting hot ends on show. Not cheap by any means, but certainly interesting. So obviously, the on the Bontex stand you had MVO, so you had George, and he's now become the UK reseller for the Slice Engineering hot ends, and they're really neat. Looking, and again, as I say, expensive, but they were nice. And then there was a company called, he says, looking Dyze Design, DYZE.
I've seen them.
Yeah, and they look really neat, really. And I think they've got a water cool version and really small, compact.
Yeah, they're from Canada, I think. Huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Don't know.
I've seen them on Formnex last year in Frankfurt.
Right. Yeah, Montreal, Quebec. Yep. Yeah. So,
really nice.
did see really nice, and again, kind of more expensive than an E3D V6, I've no doubt, but did seem like a really nice piece of kit. And even if the whole hot end would finish up costing more than the machine you put it on, but I would think the Creality machines would suit them really well because it's a really compact design, so you could get that on there and have a really good hot end. So it is coming back to me slowly, the show, but it was. I finished up, so we left. What time did we leave you, Miles? About 20 past 4, something like 4:30. Yeah. So that was us heading to the car park, loaded the car up, drove up the road. I dropped Tom off, and I got into the house gone 1 a.m. So by the time I got into the house, I was a little bit bleary-eyed and the worse for wear. So it's I'm struggling to remember everything that went on, if I'm honest.
Oh, I thought I was the last one home. You didn't say you got home that late.
Yeah. They very helpfully closed the A1M, and then let's just say I was needing the Red Bull that I took with me to get me up the road in the end.
Yeah, I want to chime in, Kat. There's like some background crackling noise in your audio stream that is always taking over. So I've been muting you every now and then. So if you can find out what it is and just or mute the mic when you're not speaking.
Okay, excuse me, I didn't know that. It's the computer. I don't know what it's doing. Okay, thank you for letting me know.
Yeah, it's like a rattling noise of some sort, like a bad fan or something like that.
It must be bad because Louise says she can hear it, and I have to say that having dropped Tom off yesterday, for the rest of the journey, I thought I'd gone deaf.
Yeah, yeah, no sound.
Don't let the stream deceive you. Tom's tall. That's the first thing. I was like, you are not still. I thought he was like 5'8". My dude's like 6'4".
But both Tom and I were the other way. We thought Miles was tall. Nope. Tall. And it turned out that he's just a normal sized guy, aren't you, Miles?
Unfortunately, due to several surgeries, I am a small boy.
Yeah,
it sucks, right? Because It's like we were saying when you were getting on the bus, right? When I go to the like Foot Locker or JD and try and buy some trainers, right? When I say, if you got this in a size 12, they look at me like, "Are you serious, little boy? You like the man as well." You know, they give you a little, they want to tap your head like, "You want some big man shoes? That's cute." I'm like, no. Oh man. But yeah, my legs. It would actually have been. I don't think 3D printing would have solved this, and it was kind of the 90s. But my legs, instead of glowing like this, they went like this. And they were like, okay, we'll just take the top bit off and glue the bit to the top. And now I'm short.
Yeah, okay.
I think Joel, Chris. So Chris is asking who's taller, Tom or Joel. I think Joel is taller, but
Joel's
but
taller.
Tom's
a big boy. But
Yeah,
Joel is a giant. So
I think Joel is 6 feet and 4 inches. So
it might be the same. They might be around the same height then.
Tom claims to be a lot smaller than that.
yeah, I'm 6 foot, so I know Joel is bigger than I am. It was quite funny to go, when I got to Earth and met the guys there, and I was like, my head was above some people's shoulders, and Matt from Practical Printing, he was like standing in a step beside me, and I was still taller than he was. So that was quite funny.
I think there was a photo from when we went down to see Ben when Ben was closing his shop up, and there was a photo of me stood next to Tom, and it was ridiculous. You know, you see it now, and I'm like, oh dear.
Ben is a normal height.
You have to get behind him and like knee him in the back of his knees, and that'll get him down a bit, and then you can quickly jump in and get your selfie taken.
Yeah, that's one thing. The first thing that it's literally the first thing I noticed about him. You're just tall.
I thought you were much taller. I thought Miles were going to be like sky high.
Nope.
Yeah, me too.
And I just got to 6 foot last year.
You wish.
I'm dead on 6 foot, 184 centimeters. Literally just made it.
Is there a 1 foot divot in floor where you got measured? It's them big feet. It's them big feet. They've made a dent in floor.
Sagging.
Yeah.
My orthopedic surgeon measured me himself. Was like, oh, finally, because they thought I was going to be even shorter, because they didn't know how tall I was going to be, and there's not a lot of men in my family to compare me to. So it's like, okay, we just don't know how tall your final height is going to be. So you can be anywhere between like 5'8" and 6'2". We just don't know how it's going to end up after all the cutting and the stitching and stuff.
I'd like to have seen Miles on his train journey home with his giant spool of filament.
I got some weird looks. It was Houston that was the problem, because legitimately hundreds of people at Houston looked at me because I rolled through Houston at like 6:30 on a Friday. It was just like, there's just 10,000 people standing in this room.
I carried it from the car onto the bus and then into TCT, and I got some real weird looks. I can't imagine what it were like for you, where there was no 3D printing people.
No, they were all disappearing, and I'm hyper conscious of people around me in general. So I look at everyone. Like, I'm talking, like, imagine just being anxious and then just having ADD as hell. It's just like, I'm just like super scanning everyone, and everyone was looking. Everyone was looking like, what are you doing?
So I've got a filament to talk about. This isn't something I picked up at TCT. This is 3D clay, and it's a PET-based filament, and it's actually got clay powder in it. It's super abrasive. You need hardened steel nozzles or such to print it. But the finish, once it's printed, it prints pretty much like PETG basically, but with the powders inside it. It literally has like a ceramic porcelain feel. Like, do you remember the porcelain vase that were at TCT? It has that same rustic, polished feel to it. That's quite a unique thing, and I've just finished printing with that today.
Nice.
Yeah, how's your layer adhesion on that filament? I got a sample of it in the maker box, and it was really low layer adhesion.
Well, I printed mine hot, and I can't seem to break it. Look. And that's just a thin maker coin.
Which company is it from?
It's from 3D Filaments. They sent me like some sample boxes, and I'll get one. I'll show you. I'll be right back.
They're good at they do an awful lot of unusual filaments. They're really good. They do one that's made from, I think it's recycled tires. That sounds really good. Pneumatic, I think it is, and it's one that I'd really like to print with, I think. But I got, courtesy of Tom, I got a PLA that they do, a silver PLA, and it's the closest thing to being as nice as Rapunzel silver, I think, as I've seen in a silver. It's a really nice PLA.
I'm back.
There you go. I was filling for you while you're away, Tom, don't we?
Yeah, so I was contacted by Richard from 3D Print Tech in Austria, and he asked if I'd like to try a 3D sample box. And it's the most extensive set of samples I've ever received in my life. There is about 30 of these little boxes, and inside each box there is samples of each different range of filaments, so that when you open them up, you have all the different brands inside, like this. And there's so many different types of filaments. Like in this one, there's ABS, there's speed PLA, there's all different sorts of. For instance, here there's brick, there's clays, there's real marbles. There's this one again, another different type of clay. That's a PET-based clay. And the sample packs they're unbelievable.
Wow, that's nice.
And like these ones, these are Shogun PLA. These are the ones I've been using. That's Fusion. That's a recycled plastic bottle, PETG, and it's blue from blue plastic bottles. Quite cool stuff. But the amount of these things, there's like 50 samples altogether, like 20 of these boxes. And it's really, really extensive, and the range of materials, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, and it's the most unusual range of materials I think I've seen.
Yeah, there's no sort of standard. Like, for instance, they do a PLA, they do the Fusion Aluminium, which is the one that Ian was talking about. And in that range, they only do that one, for instance. You can't get that in 3 different colours. And then they'll do a clay-based one. It's like they do 2 or 3 fantastic colours in a hell of a lot of materials. It's quite a unique factor, but there's quite a few people that do things differently. Like there's a company in the UK, Faberdashery, they sell by weight. Some of their filaments look fantastic. I've never tried them, but there seems a lot of people doing it all different ways now, which is fresh.
Were those samples from a company that selling sets as a sample, or? Yeah,
he sells them at 3D Print Tech Austria. Is the main sort of avenue of his business is he sells the Hers PETG metallics. He does a lot of mixed filaments. He sells Filamentum, a few that I won't mention because the copy people. Yeah, but Richard is a good guy, and Richard's a maker, so he has a business that sells filaments, but he works as well, so he's very passionate. And they contacted him and said, do you know anyone that'd like to try some? And they were kind enough to offer to me. And that sort of stuff really is my sort of thing.
Yeah, Richard is really a nice guy. I'm also in very close contact to him, and he also sent me lots of samples when I ordered some filament from him. This is here from Herz, a PETG. It's really nice. It prints so easily and has a very nice glossy finish to it. Yeah, I can really recommend it.
Yeah, it's one of the Hertz PETG is one of the nicest printing PETGs I've printed. I found the blue, the colour consistency wasn't great on it, but on all the other ones, absolutely fantastic. But the blue still printed amazing. It was just certain, I think it was speed changes. I think it was very speed reactive. So I don't think it was a filament flaw. I just think it was the model type and process I'd used affected the finish.
Was it Hertz, like in the car rental company?
Yeah,
Without a T. Oh, with it or without?
Without,
yeah, Hertz,
HGRZ.
And I think they are German, I believe, or something along them sort of lines. I believe. And Richard.
Yeah, the mother company is in Germany, but they produce the filament. I'm not quite sure, but Poland maybe, was it? Poland, I think.
Possibly.
Okay.
And Robin Mack, the answer to your question, I believe that the clay can be fired. I don't know to what extent, because there's 4 different versions. There's a PET-based one, there's a PLA version, there's an ABS version, and then there's another version that I've not quite got to. And it were a really long word, and I've never seen it before, but that was the one that we're mentioning about firing. So possibly, but I'll update you once I've got to it, because there's so many of them.
See, the chat's also talking about imperial and metric measurements.
Yeah.
Oh, don't start this again.
The fact that there's a lot of Brits all talking it.
It's Chris Russell. He's a fake American. He's actually British.
Aye. But the point is that the imperial measurement system was, funnily enough, was invented by us. So, but I've always used it. I'm old enough to. I don't quite remember really. I wasn't old enough to remember the metric system coming in, but it's within my lifetime.
Tim saying freedom units.
In Britain, you still kind of have to use because
like miles per hour.
Yeah, because the problem is, right, like you said, and Ian's not that old, right? And we have the inverse you're not old. We have the inverse, we have the inverse population charts, right? So even though I'm like a dirty millennial through and through, I still use imperial measurements for like myself. So like I'll give my weight in imperial measurements or my height in imperial measurements and distance in imperial measurements, but it's only so boomers understand what I'm saying.
I did learn metric at school, but when I started work, straight from school as an engineering apprentice for an aircraft company, and all of the aircraft designs were a few years old, so they were all in imperial, and our main external customer was Boeing. So they're all in imperial. So it wasn't really until a good few years into that I started working on some of the Airbus projects that all of a sudden I had to start understanding what the two were. So knowing that how many thou is in 0.1 of a milli, that sort of thing. It's 4. So I've always done it. I've always worked mainly in imperial, but I'm getting more and more to know metric. And to be honest, the most that I've ever used metric is since I've started 3D printing.
Yeah, here in Iceland, we use metric in almost everything. But if we buy lumber in the hardware store, we buy lumber in inches. So we have 2x4s and all that sizing of lumber.
Because it's easy to say, I think.
Yeah, because but we pretty much use metric for everything.
You don't want to. What would it be? A 50.8 by what would that be? 101.6. It doesn't have quite the same ring to it, does it?
No.
When all the boomers are gone, so will their measurements.
No, it won't.
The Yankees will still use it, but
well, exactly, huh? And they're everywhere. You know what they're like.
They are everywhere in London. I'll tell you what.
As I say, there's an awful lot of companies in the UK that are working on US aircraft projects, for instance. All of that measurement, you don't convert it. So if somebody, it's one of these things that everybody knows, not everybody, but people know how to convert from imperial to metric, metric to imperial. If a company in the US send you a drawing and it's all in imperial, that's what you'll measure it in. You won't measure it in metric and then convert it. You'll measure it in imperial. So there'll still be quite a few, as long as there's companies like that, like the aircraft industry, where they still heavily making US created designs, there'll still be plenty of it in the country.
I'm sure I saw a US imposter for a second then. We definitely had a US imposter then.
Flicking? Oh, I wasn't watching.
Yeah, he came in and he went out again. Here he is. He's here. Here he is.
Yeah, the invasion from the US. Yeah.
Evening,
Yeah, hi.
ladies and gents.
Hey, Tim.
I had to jump on because Miles is on video, and I didn't know he was a real person.
He's much shorter than he looks.
I'm just sitting here working on.
I think I'm taller than Tim.
I'm 6'2".
God damn it!
What's that?
When is 3D printed in the land of the giants?
Well, I'm also fat, so
I'm kidding, man. Don't worry.
it's a trade-off.
You want to talk about? All right. You want to trade off? All right. In 2012, I weighed half the weight I weigh now. Half.
I don't know what you weigh now.
Too much.
I'm like 260 pounds right now, which is my highest I've been in ever.
I think. See, goddamn boomers in your pounds. Oh.
Hang on, Alexa. How many stones is 260 pounds?
18.6. I'm like 16.
Okay.
Too much. But you're taller than me. This is a joke, right? I'm gonna hang out with Kat. Kat will accept me.
Why do you think I have printers on the very top shelves? Because I can actually reach them. Those are almost 6 foot tall shelves.
I'm still taller than the average man in this country.
Miles prints on the floor.
I actually do. I actually have like 2 printers under a desk.
I put my ABS machine is underneath my desk. I moved my mini fridge out of here so I can fit more printers in. Sacrifices, guys.
Wow. 1812 still happened.
Keep holding on to it, buddy. Whatever you got.
I have to Google the stone measurements.
Yeah, that's
Isn't that what you guys use?
one.
Isn't that like what you guys measure? You're usually anytime I see people from the EU talking about their weight, it's always in stone.
No. That's only the UK, and we only.
So 1 stone is 6.35 kilograms. So
it's really stupid. It's a thing. We know it's a problem. When the boomers die, we'll never use it again. I know how much I weigh in kilos as well.
How did you guys establish?
It's literally a medieval measurement.
I know, like how did they just how did they be like, okay, this is a stone we're using as the baseline, not this stone.
Yeah, where's the original stone? It's like fathoms. Like how big is 1 fathom? It depends on your size.
These are made up. You guys are just screwing with us.
Yeah, I know fathoms were used in back 100 years ago in Iceland to measure distances. So people were having fathoms to measure distances of like their farm area. So it's
you wouldn't use acres.
That's just unfathomable.
Isn't acres the freedom unit for land?
Yes, acres.
Yeah, freedom
acres and, acres and hectares.
Yeah, I've been looking at acres because we're trying to buy a house, my wife and I, and we were looking for something with at least half an acre of land. So
in London, in London, that cost you £17 million.
Are acres in irrelevance of inches or feet, or is it a different?
Freedom. It's measured freedom.
It's a measurement of freedom.
So 1 acre is 43,560 square feet.
What is feet is for people?
Yes. So basically, 1 acre is an area you can hold a handgun and shoot in every direction without killing anybody. So
I mean that'd be awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it'd be awesome if I could have like a shooting range on my property. That'd be great. Just have a bad day with a bunch of irritating customers, go out back and take some stress off.
We gave your build plate a torturing on the Bondtech stand.
Oh yeah, Miles was like, "How did you get over here?" He sent me a picture of it. He's like, "What is this doing here?"
Well, here's a funny story. So I usually print on a mirror tile, and Tim sent me the build plate over for the form bot, and I wanted to send it so it was nice and pretty for the Bondtech stand. So I messaged Tim. I'm like, Tim, am I all right to cut this build sheet up? And he's like, what you cutting it up for? Because I want to take it to TCT. And he's like, yeah, cut it up. But yeah, it worked a treat. It stuck like poo to a blanket almost. But yeah, no, it's a good thing, and it's back. It survived. And
yeah, I'll have to send you some other ones.
It was one of my most horrific stories. I was stood on the Bondtech stand, and there was a guy stood there, and he kept touching the print fan when it were printing.
Oh God, no!
After the 4th time of him doing it, I said to him, "Can you not do that, please?" And he said, "Why?" I said, "Because that's my fan." And his face just hit the floor. But yeah, I just couldn't believe it, sticking his finger in the fan like that.
You should have had like a squirt bottle full of water and just be like, "No, bad."
Well, Miles took me to a stand where there were a SLA printer, and I printed a fully functional spray bottle as it was, and it were unbelievable. And then Miles dropped it and broke it.
Oh, this is why you can't give him nice things. You can't give Miles nice things. He just ruins them.
This is true.
I'm just saying.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I hear they gave me a Facebook group, and I hear it's run by fascists now.
It is. I'm all alone tonight. My wife is in Wisconsin, land of cheese.
That is literally the only thing I know about Wisconsin, by the way.
I'm pretty sure everybody does, because that's
I got like 3 friends I play League of Legends with.
Does they eat all the cheese or create it?
Yes, all of the above. I think they said that Wisconsin produces 5 pounds of cheese per person in America every year. So, yeah, they make a lot of cheese. They're very serious about their dairy products, but I mean, they're great. I don't know if you know this fun fact, but cheese activates the same receptors in your brain as certain hard drugs like cocaine.
That explains a lot.
What? Cheese? Really?
Yes. Yeah, look it up. It's really interesting. It's
oh my God, because I'm eating a lot of cheese. So on my blocks all the time.
Is that why you're like that?
Oh,
that explains everything.
I mean, I can't really talk about weight.
You're enthusiastic.
I love my cheese. Cheese and beer. They love cheese and beer up there. I got a fridge full of beer that you can only get in Wisconsin. And I feel like I'm smuggling it into Illinois.
Yeah, so, have the banana for scale. That's a real measurement.
Okay, I can't stop that one.
so 1 filament in box, just about 1 banana.
Wait, hang on. I have OBS here. Oh, so there we go. This is what's happening again, because the first one had a layer shift. So this is 3 hours in with the new E3D 0.8 millimeter copper plated nozzle.
Where does it say Prusa on that printer?
It doesn't.
Shame on you.
It also shows. Oh, it's only $400. Okay, so yeah, it's not a Prusa. Got it.
Got any powder coating on it?
What's that?
You got any powder coating on it?
On the build sheet? No, I got the same sheet that you mangled up on there.
I drew it with straight lines, and I used a cutter. I did it really neatly. It was right sharp as well.
It has lines on it already.
Yeah. White, but it's the glue. The glue on it's good because I've had it were rolled. Like I saw Tinker say on Twitter that they were waiting for it to flatten out. And what I didn't understand is when you sent me mine was sort of like a half circle, obviously because it's huge. I understand that, but when I stuck it down, it didn't matter if it had been folded in half. It stuck. It was that thick. It didn't matter.
Oh yeah.
You didn't have to card it. You just literally stuck it on and turned the heat up and it was flat. So you could probably roll them up and put them in a poster thing. And still...
I thought so. I played around with multiple ideas. The problem is when you roll it too much, the adhesive starts to shift on the back of the sheet. So I played with like 4 different ways to mail them, like flat and then boxes. And the flat, every single time the freaking post would just puncture it. They'd have holes in it. I was like, you got to be kidding me. So yeah, the box, the oversized box with it rolled like a taco. Works the best in my opinion. We still have issues, but much less than shipping them flat. So are your guys' post services as incompetent as ours over here? Because ours are pretty bad.
No, it's actually like they'll actually send you something.
Yeah, ours will actually do what they say they do. They just charge you for it. That's all.
Yeah, it actually works.
Yeah, we're fighting with ours right now for a claim that they damaged a motherboard that was in a box. The board was in a sealed static bag wrapped in foam in a cardboard box, placed in another cardboard box with packing craft paper, and they stomped on it so hard they snapped the caps off the board.
You guys have got it easy, honestly. You should try shipping fireworks.
I think maybe I should put some in there. Maybe that would make them handle it a little nicer.
Everybody in the world, it's a firework. As soon as it goes on a transportation, it's an explosive, and it's phenomenal. It's crazy. But back to TCT, I'd like to talk. I forgot the lady's name, but there was a lady there with a 3D printing pen, and I spent a long time. Miles, my assistant will provide a business card in a second.
If he doesn't,
he actually showed it on the stream earlier on. He's doing it there somewhere.
He's
hey
probably
guys, I'm gonna get me some cheese.
He's been using it as his leveling card.
Gonna be back in a moment.
So she's currently selling a 2-part book on Amazon, and basically in the 2-part book, the first part of the book explains to you sort of the processes behind 3D pens, where they came from, how they were made, how they work, and then there's some simple, really thick paper templates in the back. And what you do is the project. So basically, she had a life-size tree that was the same height as her, with all different butterflies on it and leaves and stems, all made with a pen. And the project is made and designed, and you trace the templates with your pen, and you put all these things together, and you end up with these really fantastic. I've got some pictures which I'll tweet tonight. And she had some huge butterflies, some trees, she had a fairy, but like things I've never experienced or seen anything like that with a 3D pen before. It was like she'd not tried. Most people I see with a 3D pen try to get the pen and make it print like a printer. Try and make it like, for instance, try and do a Squirtle by Flowalistic, and it never works out. Whereas she seemed to be using a pen in a way that I hadn't seen used before, and I was blown away by it. And she was so enthusiastic. I think the trouble she was having was getting sample packs from major companies with a lot of variation, because obviously she's only using a pen. So most companies that talk to her want like a roll of filament. She'll have to buy 10 rolls of filament to get the 10 colors that she wants. So she's currently working with like people like Rigid Ink, and there's a depot in the UK that do Global FSD, which just do samples. She's doing them sort of things to get through it. But I know she was talking to Filamentum, so there may be some glitter-based fairies coming soon. I couldn't comment, but the stuff she was doing was absolutely fantastic, and it was aimed at kids as well. So, for instance, anyone from like 8 upwards, within parent supervision, obviously, because the pen's hot, safety first, as we know. But it looked really amazing. She thought outside the box, and the book retailed at $22.49 on Amazon Prime. And I know that sounds like a lot, but there were full A4 texts, and there were a good 2 centimeter thick books each with real good detail in them, pictures, full color. When you say $22.50, sometimes it can sound expensive, but for what you actually got there, it was amazing. And she also recommended different pens for kids, what sort of pens did work for kids, what sort of pens for adults, and also where you can buy them. Non-affiliate links, just from her experiences of what she'd found.
It was pretty nuts. Like I remember when I went up to her, I'm like, and then I saw the pens on the desk, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah, I didn't believe her at first. I didn't believe her, and then it wasn't until I sort of fell into the tree, and it all sort of fell apart, and I was putting it back together frantically, and that's why Ian didn't realise I was there for nearly 30 minutes, putting the tree back and saying how amazing it was. That you realise the things were actually rigid; they were just the way they went together, and you could see there were no doubt in what she'd done. It were amazing.
Oh, she was impressive, wasn't it?
I think the tree took her. I think she said it took her 3 days. Now I know that sounds like a long time, but this tree were pretty big and it had lots of butterflies on it.
Well, it's a full height of the booth, wasn't it? So
Why, if anyone wants to like feel the pain of moderating this Facebook group, there's 1,200 people like waiting for approval right now.
Yeah, just send me a link. We're used to it.
Is it not approve all at the top? Just hit that. It'll be fine.
Just hit that. Oh, God.
Hit that.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
There'll definitely not be any Chinese printer companies in there at all.
Yeah, it's everybody is nice on the Facebook group.
I've just thought of it. You know, we've talked about all the different things and kind of highlights and the things that really struck you. I've just thought of actually. I think my favourite thing of the whole TCT experience for me was when Tom pointed out that my hair was probably made with a transition spool.
Oof.
Yeah. Talking about shows, since Tim is in here, like the TCT show, the guys were telling me it's like a trade show more than a end user event. Do you have anything similar as a TCT show in the States, like a trade show?
IMTS is one, which is actually, it was in Chicago, but I was too busy to actually go to it. I know there were a few people I knew in the community that went there, but me personally, I did not go because I was stuck working.
Yeah, so the main shows are the Maker Fairs and the Earth and Murph.
Yeah, Earth, Murph, and I wouldn't really call those trade shows.
There's like Maker Fairs, aren't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just like gatherings, just nerd gatherings, you know?
Yeah.
Summing up the TCT, the majority of the people that were there, they were aiming at people that were selling, that was buying for company-based, spending other people's money, for instance. So like one guy, me and Miles were looking at a machine with Ian, and I think the machine was around, didn't he say 50 grand for the one where he asked us to snap the parts? And it were a fantastic machine. It wasn't very big. I don't think it were as big as a CR10 print volume. It was maybe a little bit wider. It had
forged, wasn't it?
IDEX setup. It were printing some really hardcore materials, but it were 50 grand. And then the kicking line came when he said, but we only sell them in packs of 12. And when he said that, we just walked off. We just thought, what a loan.
His little joke.
Yeah. It were lost on me.
He wasn't telling us a price. He said, I only sell them in packs of 10, packs of 12, and that'll cost you 300,000.
600,000.
So you could have just told us the price of the machine instead of trying to be clever.
And our guy in his piece, he said you can't snap it. When you can feel something and you're about to snap it and you think, well, I won't snap it because I don't know how much it costs, and I wish I had snapped it.
Plus, you don't know how it's going to shatter and what it's going to do to your hands, so you don't press too hard. But I think it was Mark forged.
Day 3, it'd be all right.
It was Mark forged the machine, but not the guys that were selling it. It was that they were just like, it sounded to me as if they were kind of just more users. I think they were kind of more bureau than anything.
But like Filamentum, that were a big shock. Like to see how they just went with that whole new range of industrial materials under that new umbrella of Filamentum Industrial. And I actually got to take part in some of the printing. I had a bit of a nightmare and then a bit of a success. I was printing some carbon fiber nylon for TCT. And they asked me to print an exhaust manifold, and I just said, yeah, I'll print it. The issue was that like 70% of the print was actually supports. So when it got up, I've never printed with nylon before. It was 3 days to TCT, so I just fired in some PET-G settings and just went for it. And as it happened, the print turned out really great, but the supports weren't too good. So towards the end, it failed. Without thinking, I set something else going, like an overnight print that would get something so that for the day there was something there, and it was like a turbo prop. But what, in my wisdom, I didn't remember is it wasn't a 1 kilogram spool because it's nylon. It was a 600 kilogram spool. So I timed it just to the pinch, just so there were a couple of gram left on the spool. As it turned out, we're about 100 grams short. But then when I took it and said, oh, so you could see the infill and the inner workings, everybody loved it and it looks amazing. So, but to see all those new materials and like some of them come in with health warnings that you've got to have extraction fans and nylons and PVCs, new flex fills. It were amazing to see that you can grow within that brand because you've got all your PLAs, you've got your ASAs, you've got your ABS, you've got your CPE, you've got your flex, you've got your wood fills, and now you've got a load more sort of industrial grade sort of materials coming through. So you can start off at the PLAs, and when I say start off, you're not really limited because you've got 50 different shades of PLA, and then you can move on to say your PETGs, your ASAs, your CPEs, wood fills, and then onto the harder engineering materials. So you can sort of grow with the brand and get a good consistency and of what they do and how they do it, which were really cool. And no, Ben, I didn't ask Colourfab about Lux Price. I didn't say Colourfab.
The thing as well. So when we were watching the presentation on the industrial, on the technical materials, we got to the last. I think the last couple of slides were what they were working on for the future, and there was a few of the materials on there that I think got us both hopping about on the benches. Unfortunately, I just can't remember. It was all too long ago. But I think there's stuff coming down the line that is going to be mind blowing as well.
I'm saying nothing again.
So on the theme of saying nothing, I'm going to call it a night. Having spent 2 days with Tom, I'm kind of worn out. You know, it's very difficult to keep up with him at the best of times. But I'm absolutely shattered. So I'll wish you guys good night, and thanks a lot for a great stream again, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
I'll bring ADHD meds.
It was nice seeing you again.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
Lightweight.
You guys gonna make fun of me if I drop off?
No, we want you to drop off.
Oh, okay. Well, fine. I'll go play with my cats. They actually love me.
Your cats don't love you. Everyone needs to know this. The entire internet needs to know this. Okay, in every kids movie in the 90s, where the cats talked, what were the cats? They were evil. Oh no, you're not
Hang
listening.
on.
Yeah, they are our overlords.
Exactly. They tolerate you. They don't love you. They tolerate you.
Yeah, they tolerate you enough for to accept the food you give them.
So many of these people are bots.
If I was not in my office, my cat would come if I snap my fingers, but he hates the sound of the machines.
This is so. Why can I? You think Facebook wouldn't let me filter join requests by gender?
You can,
but they can.
I know. I was talking about that. I was like that I feel like that it's kind of sexist.
Facebook. I'm very surprised.
Facebook. I'm triggered.
Facebook's getting woke.
I think it's the opposite of woke, allowing you to filter by gender.
Maybe it was ironically woke.
What?
Stay woke.
What is the topic of discussion now?
I don't know.
So we don't get sidetracked. You guys always bring up stuff, and then people yell at me for talking about myself too much.
Oh, people yell at me.
Cheese and cats and Facebook.
I didn't use caps lock in my hate message to you.
Oh, so it wasn't serious. Okay.
I'm not jumping in as fast because I keep looking. I'm printing with the 2 powder coated PI sheets, so I'm right nervous that it's going to go wrong because I haven't printed with it before. And well, I've done a couple of prints, and I'm also using Slick 3R on both printers. Shocking, I know, but so I'm really sort of like every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I'm waiting for some flexi plates to come in. I've been playing with one. I really like it, especially for doing production. Just poop, snap, all my parts are off. Like
powder coated ones.
What's that?
Powder coated ones.
No, it's adhesive, so you can replace it.
Yeah, well, what's it called? There's a guy. I can't remember his name. I think he's called Ken, and he does powder coated PAI in your neck at Woods, and he does them for Ender 3s and stuff like that.
Yeah, I can only get them in Ender 3 and CR10 sizes right now because that's the limitation. But send me that guy's info. I'd be interested.
Yeah, because he's producing. He's going to be. He's doing a Kickstarter, I believe, very soon. And they're produced on roll, so he can take orders on any sort of size and produce them. I can't comment on his scaling or the quality of his product because I'm not used to it.
Well, my thing is, I like the idea of the powder coating. Okay, because obviously people trying to put sheets on their people screw up putting bed mats on, which I don't understand how, but they do. So I can't even imagine them trying to put a PEI sheet on. It's usually a little thinner. But in terms of a waste side of things, I do like the idea of being able to replace the surface and retain the spring steel sheet instead of having to discard it once it gets worn out. Because trying to get that powder coating off, once it starts wearing away and breaks off, you're gonna have to scrape, the living heck out of it, versus just peel off the sheet and put a new one on.
Yeah, Prusa states the powder coated sheets are consumables, so you're not. I think he took a scraper to it. It was not getting off, so I don't think you can easily remove it.
Yeah, well, it's going to wear down. I mean, eventually it's going to wear down. It's going to need to be replaced.
This one just finished. This is my first maker coin in Prusa on the powder coated PI. So I'll flex it now and we'll see.
All right, let's see.
Just how good it is. And you can literally just peel it off by hand. And the Prusa quality is fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Heather would die having this.
And the bottom surface.
Oh my God.
I've got a noozle here from over across the pond by you guys. Got a E3D.
Is it real?
It is. It is.
Show me them dots on the side.
Hang on. Well, the clones do have dots, but
clones have dots. Of course they do.
Well, if they're using the E3D design, then they should. But yeah, I bought this through Printed Solid. This for two of these. These are the Volcano. These are the copper with the plating. The other one's on the Alpha Wise. That was printing the Giant Benti. $62 for two nozzles. Woo!
Wow.
They're expensive. It's nice, but I'm still playing with it. It's really nice. My thing is, I think this is more of if you got the money to blow, then do it. But is it $26 nicer than a standard?
Olsen Ruby had a standard teeth.
Olsen Ruby, I've seen too many people damage them too easily.
How you damage that?
I've seen them cracked. I see posts every week about them cracked.
Well, are people running them into the print bed, or what are they doing?
Well, one guy thought it would be a great idea to use it with a piezo leveling system, so we can see how that went. The piezo has to touch the bed, so it's like, dude, it's a ruby, it's gonna crack.
Yeah, okay.
Am I allowed to discriminate against people joining the group because they're weebs?
I would, I don't know. I might support that. Depends on how they are.
There's like 6 different weebs I just approved.
I saw the Slice Engineering hot end, the Magnum, on the Bontex stand at TCT.
They're calling it the Magnum because that's a condom brand over here in the US.
Yeah, well, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, I was speaking to the Bontex guy.
From Florida, the Slice Engineers guy.
Well, they're going to make the Bontex guys are going to try and make a CR10 kit, like a full proper plug and play kit, as in you undo 2 screws on your axis, you slide the bad boy on with the wheels and the plate already, and you plug the airplane connectors into the back, and you're ready to roll with Bontex.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I could sell that a lot. I have people asking me if we can do that. It's like I could, but that's a lot of labor.
Well, the problem that for me was the setup that they had there with the Magnum and the thing was it looked great and it looked fantastic, but it was £550 retail.
Oh my God! And
that was because it was Slice Engineering Magnum with a Bontex extruder on top and a special newly released Olsen Ruby nozzle. So it could print stupid things, but I couldn't see a place for that thing because if you look at it, if you take my most expensive printer at £1,500, if you put 2 of those on it, because that's what it's got, that's a £2,500 printer.
Yeah, I wouldn't pay for that. Even
I don't see that's value. But the Bontex gentleman spoke to me and he said, "Did I see a market?" Because obviously he saw my printer there and he was very impressed. And he spoke to me about with the creator of the mount to try and make it so that they could injection mold it so that you could literally just put it on as a Bondtech piece and they'd still credit the designer and so on. So that's a good thing, because then for a nominal, normal sort of upgrade cost, you could have a slot in, slot out, direct drive Bondtech, which will be the closest thing you'll get to a bigger build volume Prusa until a bigger build volume Prusa comes out.
Could go a Titan Arrow. I mean, I've been pretty happy with my Titan Arrows.
Well, I've got some Titan issues. I've got a Titan-ish on the TiVo Flash, and then there's a couple on the new A10M that are not quite Titans.
Have you tried on a printer that's not a TiVo? I think Miles would agree it'd probably work on one that's not a TiVo. Yeah,
Miles is going to get a TiVo. Miles is currently selling his Creality machine, so you can buy TiVo. TiVo is good.
Well, he's actually like their official EU guy now. So.
Yeah, I think he got a sponsorship deal.
He's the poster boy for TiVo.
He is.
Those red envelopes are really heavy.
I saw it. He sent me this video on Facebook. He was like, "Look what TiVo sent me. It's just just a pouch full of money. That's all it was." He's like, "Tom didn't want it, but I'll take it."
I'd say no. Mine were free, and that were it.
That's why I live in this opulent mansion.
You live in a nicer place than I do.
My dad lives in a nicer. It's important. It's important. It's the funny thing is, TiVo has offered me printers like 6 times.
I would say I'd take them, but I have no room. I don't know if you saw the Instagram post, but I've literally a pile of printers in my living room that are still in the boxes.
I did see that.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that are not even hooked up on top of those.
You can tell Creality to send me as much as they like.
I bought those. That's like $1,300 worth of Creality machines sitting in my living room.
Dude,
that we bought.
The thing is, right,
that I don't even need. For the record, I bought it because I told them if they became GPL compliant, I will buy their machines just to support them. So put your money where your mouth is.
I guess you could do that. That is
you
good.
know.
But oh my goodness,
I want to see Miles with a TiVo little monster.
Yeah.
That's the only one I actually like the look of. I will say.
There you go, TiVo. He said he likes it. Send Miles a TiVo monster. You've got him there.
No,
he'll do it. He'll do a review for only £2,000.
I'm gonna message him and get him to send him.
I'll message my guy. I can probably get them to send him a TiVo machine, and I have his address. I can give it to him because I've sent him stuff before too.
Do it.
I wouldn't say no either.
TiVo has my address, not for any legitimate means.
What are you putting in your mouth? Are you're acting like you're smoking? Wait, what is this a piece of plastic?
I thought it was a joint.
And the second print just finished on the build plate. So if you look in that top corner now, I'll go touch it without moving the plate, and you'll see how it works without actually having to move it. So you can just literally just pick it up.
Damn.
That makes me nervous though. I understand like it's based on the thermal expansion of the plastic and everything, but it's like like sometimes it's like when I use PEI, straight PEI, like sometimes it'd be great, and other times it would just not stick. And I gotta get my hands on the powder coated plate to see how that is. But I have PTSD with PEI of it just being inconsistent. Like
I've only ever experienced PI with Prusas, like even the smooth stuff, and I never really liked it before on anything else. But with those, I love it, and I find that if you keep up to the maintenance properly, like wipe them every 2 or 3 prints, then it sticks like butter every single time. But that one time that if you get to do it, it will bite you in the backside. But for me, PEI, the best benefit of PEI is the range of materials. You can print everything on it as long as you take the correct steps to do so, like for TPU to protect it and so on. It can take a lot.
See, I can't tell you the last time I cleaned one of my machines that's got the same sheet I sent you. Like literally, I scrape it and I hit print. Like I don't clean it.
But does it do that? Does it do that?
I can't see. I can't see. It's too blurry. You're in like SD on my end.
That's because I don't stream. I'm not streaming. I just print.
I mean, you look like you got a fancy background thing and everything. You look like a streamer. You keep saying that, but you know, you're saying one thing in your video setup.
Well, I've actually printed a lot of tiles for that wall, so we'll see.
I almost took one of TiVo's printers just to burn it on camera.
You really hate them. I've never met someone with such hatred. I don't even have that much hatred towards Creality, and they stole one of my shit.
It was like honestly, it was like TiVo's biggest fan when we were at TCT. He never stopped talking about TiVo. I'm sure
he talks a lot of. He talks about him because I think subconsciously he really just loves them, and he just wants to be part of that TiVo culture.
It feels left out, doesn't it?
Oh, wait. Tim, I'm so glad you brought this up. That amazing, just take it up with a dollar bill. TiVo culture is everything you ever did wrong was your fault. Nothing is wrong. You're an idiot. Go away and die.
So I did a little giveaway on Reddit. And I had one of the entries was you can answer a question. The question I asked was, what is the #1 problem you think with 3D printers right now? And like there was a total of 450 submissions. Okay, 60 of them all said the end user or operator. That was the most common response. I was like, well, I mean, I've been online, so you're not entirely wrong.
If you don't know how to do these 17 really obvious things to me 10 seconds after you take your printer out of the box, you're an idiot. And when someone says, hey, can you not call people in my community idiots? You're going to call him an idiot and a fascist and a communist.
So TiVo people were actually calling other people idiots? Or was this just their user base?
The staff members and the user base.
Okay, the staff shouldn't say anything. It's like how I can't go and if someone's being an idiot, I can't go out and say you're being an idiot. But if someone else says it,
imagine you do that, and imagine you hire like 20 people who also do that.
Well, I would fire people if they were going around telling people that they're idiots. Customers are not.
Can you hear that? Basic standards of human decency and conduct. What?
I mean, here's the thing. And we'll just briefly, so we don't go another segue. It's really simple. I don't understand why. Like, yes, there's noobs. Yes, there's people asking the same question that's been asked a million times over. Like, is S3D worth it? Yes, if you got the money, it's worth it. Done. Move on. I could actually buy a copy of S3D with the amount if I got $1 for every time I saw that question. Imagine
if I got $1 for every
time you brought up TiVo.
Every time someone joined my group. Imagine.
But what I'm saying is, I understand why people just be like, okay, yeah, it's irritating. Just scroll past. Like, someone else is gonna help them. And
wait, Tim.
What?
Can you say that louder for the people in the back?
I'm saying, I get noobs are irritating, but we were all there one point. So just scroll past and don't be a dick. Like, help them out.
Tim, how could you be such a insert political opinion I disapprove with here? How could you do that?
The word you're looking for is racist or Nazi. That's what.
Whatever. No. I have been called all of them, and I have been called a Nazi, which doesn't make sense. It doesn't. Stop calling black people Nazis. It doesn't make any sense.
And you can't be racist. Just remember that. Oh, we have video proof that you exist.
What's everybody printing tonight then?
I was just about to ask that.
Yeah, I'm printing landscapes. I'm having trouble with some under extrusions, and I'm actually now trying out Simplify 3D to print out the landscape models.
That's so cute with the cat. Oh my god.
Yeah,
he loves that stuff.
I'm printing the giant benchy again. And Miles, if you look in the background, that green machine, that's a TiVo Tornado that's printing amazingly.
Boo, get a CR10.
The CR10 is on the shelf above the U10.
I'm sorry.
But that's about 4 hours into the print now.
What size is that, Benchy?
It's like 390 long.
Here's my 100% scale, Benchy.
That's a 750% that's on there. Here, I can just go around my desk and just pick up benchies. They're everywhere.
This might be.
So,
This might be a special bench.
I was printing an iris box, but I stopped it because it was too loud
Whoa.
next to me. This is this little magician from BQ. It's really cool.
I saw that. How is it? It's like it looks kind of cheap, but I mean it is cheap.
No, but it prints really nice.
Well, that was what I was curious about.
And I think that one day I knocked it off my shelf.
Oh man!
And it fell down like 1.5 meters, and nothing happened. So I think the quality is good.
Okay, so about 4 or 5 feet. Okay, that's good. I had to do the conversion in my hand, like meters to feet. I will say though, like I find myself using more metric units. And here's the thing: I've been a computer nerd forever, so I've already been used to knowing temperatures in Celsius because that's what everything is defaulted to. So, but for the record, even though I'm an American, I do like the metric system better because it makes more sense.
Scaling things.
First US guy I've ever heard saying that.
I'm gonna get burned now. I think the cops are here to take me away.
Yeah. Yeah, you get copters above your house in a minute.
If I disappear, you guys will know why. Make sure they know my story.
They will ship you to Canada.
Oh God, please no. Well, as long as it's not like Quebec or something. So
you know, like the French.
I'm not even gonna get into the French. I've had a lot of bad experiences with the French.
So then, from left to right, some Louise from the chat. What is the most useful thing you have ever printed? All of you. So one after another. So Kat, what's the most useful thing you've ever printed?
It's here on the floor. No, I love practical printing. So one of them is this is a spatula for when you put the dough when you bake, and the handle broke off. And so I just constructed a new one, and there you go. You can go on using it. I printed a nameplate for the doorbell, and also for the post box outside. So I love that practical stuff.
Martin?
Yeah, for me, it's definitely a shelf in the refrigerator. As soon as I got my printer, I printed out and I created a model and printed out a replacement shelf for the refrigerator, and it has been in use for 1.5 years, and it's working quite well. So that's definitely the most practical, useful thing.
Did you print that in PLA? Was that a PLA or a PETG print? Or?
Yeah, it was a PLA, and I then just sprayed it with a clear spray to seal the ley lines.
And what sort of time's that been sort of in use now?
1.5 years.
No way, that's pretty cool then. That proves a point almost, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just working great, and I have my it's in the door, so when you open up, it's everything that's in it is in containers, so it's not in contact with food.
Yeah, like sauce bottles and so on.
Yeah. So mustard and whatnot, so it's not in direct contact with food, but definitely the most practical thing.
So Miles,
I don't think I've actually ever printed anything practical.
Have you ever actually printed anything, Miles? What do you actually print?
I don't think he has.
I printing with your new. I guess the most useful thing that I can think of that I'm about to be printing is lens covers for my Oculus Go.
Wow, you are rich if you got Oculus.
I got Oculus Go. I got Oculus Rift.
I always said it right. Rift. So what have you printed, Tim? Other than benches?
I have tons of benchies. Hey, and benchies are practical prints, okay? I actually have, it is out in my living room though. and I need to actually print another one. But I have a stand for my my HTC Vive headset. So, but I have to print another one because I have this one as well that I use on this computer. This is the HP Windows Mixed Reality headset, so I got to make a stand for that one. So I got that one for $200 US at Best Buy. They were closing them out for some reason. I was like, Well,
I've never printed a practical print.
Really? Are you serious?
Most practical print I've ever printed. I printed a thing. Well, if prints for printers like upgrade and stuff count, then I've done loads. But not for a printer, probably a vase.
Wow! Oh my God! Really?
I mean, I print a lot. Most of my machines are running parts for other printers right now.
And it's like there's Chris Russell, practical printing. He's in the chat, and he's insulting us all saying about his practical printing. But he's got a practical printing YouTube channel, and even he don't practical print.
He's getting called out right now for the hypocrisy.
We were coming on from TCT. I've dropped a video of being around the Prusament stand and stuff, and me and Chris Russell, practical printing, I thought we were good friends. We message quite often. We have a bit of a laugh, and he's a good guy. And then I got this notification to say, Chris Russell has subscribed to your YouTube channel. I'm like, what? Now? What were on 6 months ago? So, yeah, we've had a...
see where your loyalties lie. It's good to know.
We've had a little lovers tiff.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I did technically print like tens of thousands of practical prints, but it was on SLS machines.
Oh, you keep telling me that, like, oh, I don't have any money, but you're over here with virtual reality and SLS printers. Like,
it's a TiVo money. It's all new TiVo money.
TiVo money. Let's get that trending. Hashtag TiVo money. Let's get that trending on Twitter.
Do you want to have an online war with me?
I've
want to do this?
I've been around. I've been around since the days of 4chan, and I frequented B back in the day. So bring it on.
Look at you! watch it, guys. This guy,
I know,
has got a filament scraper. He's gonna cut himself on that edge.
I have. I'm multiple times actually. That's why I'm looking forward to the flex plate.
I went on B.
Ooh. I know. You're like, I run B.
Oh God.
Yeah. Walter has a good practical print. He printed a printer so he can print more impractical stuff.
He did. He's Mr. 3D. I 3D printed a 3D printer with a 3D printer, and then a 3D printer printed another 3D printer.
If you ask Walter though, if you're part of the country club and you ask Walter, he's like, before Walter printed the printed printer, there was other ones. But it's like I tried to tell Walter, he made it cool. Like, he made it so that he's now the face of printed printer. Like, to the point where he printed PLA bearings, and he was doing a swap on his printer the other week. And he took the PLA bearings out, and I'm not joking, the printer had done thousands of hours. It were a year old. He took the PLA bearings out, he put the same ones back in and carried on printing, and it prints like butter. And
oh my God.
Just to go for it, he just went for it. And like, the hypercube that he did, he got the TiVo straight out of the box, and the giant build volume, and he's printing extrusion straight away. And he had a couple of failed prints, but he stuck at it, and he built a hypercube out of printed parts. And it's like, what? And it's there, and it's printing, and he's live streaming on the way to Earth with the printers in the back of his car, and we're talking to him, and you were part of that experience. Walter's journey with the printed printer, it were awesome. It were an awesome thing to watch, and it were an awesome thing to see him do from start to finish. And then he streamed the whole day was there. So to see the reactions that Walter had wanted, to see the people coming up and then see them talking like that, it were absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I think he doesn't really like too much that's what he's known for. He's like, I had so much other stuff, but everyone is like, oh, you're the guy that printed the printer.
Yeah, it was quite a project to get this printer all printed out, and it prints really well. So he did a good job on it.
So, dear guys, I'm going to leave now because I'm time-wise ahead of you. It's here now 1:00 a.m. and I think I'm going to go to bed. And just wanted to say goodbye and looking forward to the next one. Huh?
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, Kat. See you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will watch the rest tomorrow morning.
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Hang on. Before you go, Kat, I'm gonna go get my cat so you can see my cat.
Oh, yeah. So you see, she's asking me to come to bed with her. Oh, he can be more quick.
Yeah, here's my cat watching me.
Oh, he's so cute. He's sitting on the roll there.
Yeah, he likes to have a filament box on the table to rest on. So
Okay.
he's very often here on the table with me. So.
When will you feed me again, human?
Oh, wow. Look at 2 cats. Say something.
Yeah, I use 3.
Go on, Tim. So you pop up. I have to activate his mic again.
So they were all sleeping in the same spot. This is my baby. This is Diesel.
Oh, so cute.
I love the orange tabby. Yeah, he's my big baby.
Yeah, he's quite big.
Yeah, he's like 20 pounds. So, but it's all Miles has to know.
Baby.
He's baby.
Oh my God. You make it hard for me to leave. I want to leave.
I'm surprised he's actually staying here in my lap. He doesn't like, if the printers are all off, he'll come in here and he'll crawl in my lap, but he doesn't like the sounds of the stepper motors.
It's because the cat hears at a higher frequency than you can. It probably sounds like a damn sonic grenade in that room.
The other 2 are fine. They come in here all the time. But the black one is Archer, and the white and black one is Cyril, named after characters from the show Archer. So, and Diesel got his name because he purrs so loud. My wife was like, he sounds like a diesel motor. So, yeah.
Was that a normal size spool then, Miles? It looked like you were sweating when you picked that up.
Oh, it is a normal size because he's so short. And
Good night, country 3T's going now. Night, country. Night, Walter.
Bye bye.
Night, Walter.
Bye.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah, kitties. I think most people own kitties in the community. I like dogs though. Don't get me wrong. We're definitely getting a dog when we get a house. So.
Honestly, Miles carrying that spool of filament at TCT, it is the funniest thing. I say that I would carry a giant Prusa looking like an idiot because I couldn't even bend my legs. But watching Miles with a giant 8-kilogram spool strapped to his backpack, going for bus, it's foot train, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
You and like 100 other people.
So this little guy came back. He was like, "Hey, you're."
I legit got on the bus all the way from Houston because there was just too many people, and I was just like, I could just feel them, and I don't feel like I don't feel like getting into a tiny underground tube with all these people. I'm gonna get on a bus instead. So I got on a bus for like an hour and a half all the way from Houston.
This is ridiculous. They figured out that I'm willing to hold them now. So.
Yeah, you have the black
woman. You will serve me now.
Diesel is still in my lap right now. But
I don't have no cat, no pets, no kids.
There's Diesel.
Free.
Yeah. This guy is probably the cuddliest, especially now it's getting cooler. He will sandwich himself between my wife and I in bed. Like he'll crawl under the covers, and like in the middle of the night, we're like, what the hell is in between us? And it's a cat.
I will use them for their warmth. Why?
Warmth, food.
Why? You know, it's like white cats. You think, oh my god, my cat's come and sat on my keyboard. It loves me. No, your keyboard is made of warmth. Yeah.
Hey, here's the thing. My cat actually loves me because this guy Archer, and the other one's Cyril. If we're eating, they're all over us because they want our food. But Diesel does not care about people food. So when he comes up to me, he actually wants my attention. So, you know, he might have the wrong firmware load. I think they accidentally loaded the dog build.
Yeah, he actually just comes to you because he needs you to serve him to give him food.
He gets his own food. They got like an automatic feeder. So
yeah, okay. So do they have like a chip in the collar?
No, we just have the gravity fed one. I was looking at the Wi-Fi ones because we've got like the laser pointer that's wireless connected. Like I can tell my Amazon Echoes to, you know, have the laser play with them, and it'll move it around, and it also comes on at random times, so they'll sit there and wait for it to come on. It's hilarious.
Yeah, see you, Chris. He's going.
Chris Russell back to work. He don't work.
Yeah.
He lives on Twitter.
Yeah, it's just a internet person. So.
He's a good dude though. He's a good guy. He's Chris. He always makes me laugh, and he always throws me under the bus, and I think it's great. And like he'll send me something each week. Try and print this, and some of the stuff he sends, like I printed a lattice torture cube once, and then he sent me a lattice torture cube with a Benchy and a Marvin transplanted inside it. Try this next week, and he's a really good guy.
Yeah, he came for a visit to Iceland.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you swapped the things. Of course you did. I saw the video. You were in the pub. You went to the pub.
Yeah. He was going with his wife for like a anniversary or something.
Yeah.
We just spent a few days here and drove around, and he paid me a visit, and it was great meeting him.
What's that you've got there, Tim?
Oh, I just got to. I think Miles said this is his favorite printer, so I figured I'm gonna be working on this tonight. I figured I should show it to him.
No way! Yeah, look at this, Miles. I've got one of them too. Look.
I've got the special. See, mine. I name all my printers, so this one's Gordon because it's the Flash. Do you get it? Flash Gordon.
Oh, I didn't think like that. I named mine Miles.
Oh.
This is Miles. I need to put a sticker on it like yours. I'm going to put it on it. Miles the TiVo.
Mine are all named. Most of them have names of after hurricanes, because I feel like that's fitting because these things are a pain sometimes. And then the other one, like my Wanhao duplicator i3, I call it Joe after Joe Crusoe.
Yeah, okay. I just named my printer MK3, MK2.5, and CR10.
I have the ones that give me the most trouble are named after my exes.
Yeah, multiple X's.
What's your on the TiVo, Tim? What's your power PSU fan like?
It's not terrible. It's not terrible. The power supply though is the same junk one they put in the Tornado. So
that one should go in the box.
I'm gonna rip.
It's not terrible.
Not terrible.
Well, but the power supply is the same low end one they put in the Tornado, which luckily I stock those already, so I have a pile of them here because we sell them.
Yeah, because I said to him, I messaged him and I said to him, look, you should change that because it is actually quite quiet. The rest of the fans are quite quiet, so why put that on there? Because like, I'm not going to say it's quiet as a Prusa, and even if it was quiet as a Prusa, I still wouldn't say it was. No, I'm only messing.
I know you and Joe. You guys have your alone time, and you guys have.
Yeah. He signed me nipple. We're like best friends.
I know. I know. We were like, you're Mr. Prusa over there.
Imagine my shock.
For me, I don't sort of rate myself as somebody known and that sort of thing. And for someone like Prusa to walk up to you and look at your name badge, read it, and know you are, and be engaging and be like just really positive, it were a cool thing to see, because you hear a lot of stories about people. Lots of people talk, lots of people bash, and to see him there on his stand and be there and be passionate and be taking photos and pictures and talking about things and putting printers in boxes and rolling filaments up and just generally being just one of the guys, it were a cool thing just to stand back and watch. Yeah,
well, and that's how you know they're still like kind of a startup. Is it's that he's still at the ground level helping out. He's not just, you know.
I don't think if he went to the stratosphere, I don't think that if he became the only 3D printer ever to be on sale, I don't think he wouldn't be at the stand. I think Prusa is Prusa. The stand is not Prusa when Prusa's not there. There's a vibe, there's a kick. All the staff are happy, they're exciting. But when he's there, there's a different vibe, there's a different feeling there. And I think that's what makes Prusa special. I think that's what does it. Like the multi-material, a lot of people say, oh, I've had to wait 6 months, I've had to wait a year, and this sort of thing. I ordered a year ago, and I ordered MMU1. I got MMU2 delivered with a refund and a free roll of filament. And what I ordered and what I got delivered is a totally different world. So it's up on that machine as we speak now. And
I can't believe people will wait 6 months for a product. You know, I got people that we take an extra day to ship an order, and
6 months. 6 months. I waited a year. I ordered MMU.
I'm just saying, I can't believe, like, even if I have stuff that's on back order, people are like, when is this going to ship? Like, you placed it 4 hours ago.
Yeah. How's your experience with the MMU2?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. That'd be the only reason I'd buy a Prusa is for the MMU, because I could do it. I could DIY it. I don't have the time. I don't want to deal with it.
No, it's MMU2 is another world. The way it works, the way it integrates with the machine, that's the biggest key factor that I'd say is it's not a separate unit. Once they are tied together and you wire it together, which again, if you want to hook it off, it's very simple to do. It is at one with the printer. The firmware is accepting of it. You can control the filament loads and unloads via the UI from the firmware from the control unit. You can also control it manually. You can load it manually. You can unload it. You can have I've got my filament mounted on the wall at the moment, and it's just the way the thing works. There's a lot of movement there, and there's a lot of I
watched the video.
Well, there's a lot of play. For instance, like the pallet one where they have the tube coming out. I actually trimmed that guide tube down like an idiot and actually broke it. I fixed it like now, but I broke it again. But we'll go into that after. But with the MMU2, the calibration is literally you build it and you build it slow. You make sure everything is in line, and if everything is built to the letter, it won't cause you an issue. And then what you do is you put your filaments into it and you just start printing, and it does exactly what it says on the tin. And calibration wise, you put your first filament in, and once it's in and it's loaded into the MMU unit, you push the button to lower it down. And what it'll do is it'll put filament down the Bowden tube that's there. And as soon as you see it in line with the Bondtech gears, you tell it okay, and then it'll remember that setting. It'll go back, and that's it. It'll retract the filament. Then you hit print, and that's it. You're off. You're done. You can have different length PTFE tubes on the back for one spool going over here, one spool going over there. And again, it doesn't affect the calibration. And I've calibrated it twice since I got it. And the reason I did it twice was because I reset the printer before resetting the MMU, which didn't store the values. But it rocks it. The only negative that I would say about that unit is that when you first fire it on in the current firmware, there is something where it homes twice. So it goes through a 20-second checking all the entries, moving home and banging itself out. It does that twice, and it'll sort of pause in the middle of it. Again, we're talking a 40-second period, and normally your MK3 is not actually warmed up itself yet before that's finished. Now, I don't know if it's meant to do that, but to me, it doesn't seem like it's meant to do that, but that's never affected the way it prints. Another thing is that, like, tonight I've been printing on it, but I'm printing through it in single color, and you can have 5 spools on the wall, and then you just put a single slice G-code in there, and it'll ask you which filament to take from it. As long as you've sliced with Slick 3R, it'll ask you which filament path to use, and you can just tell it, it'll go across, and it'll pull in that filament, and away you go. So you can find yourself printing 5 or 6 things without actually having to change a spool, because you've got your 5 or 6 favorite things up, and you never intended to print multicolor. You just intended to print lots of things, and then you think, oh, I'll try a bit of Galaxy now. I'll move on to this. I'll move on to that, all without touching a spool, it's really unique.
Yeah, so normally you don't detach the MMU from the printer when you're doing single color. You just feed through it.
Yeah, you can feed through it. What you can do is, if you want to use Simplify 3D, then you have to dismount the unit. The reason you have to dismount the unit is because
that's a deal breaker for me.
No. When I say you have to dismount the unit, you don't have to take the unit off. On the back of the board,
you just have to not feed the filament through it.
Yeah, no, you can't. You have to undo the clips from the Rambo, and the reason that you have to do that is because otherwise the firmware still reckons it, and Simplify 3D doesn't control MMU. So if you feed through the top, it won't reach the Bontex because that's not feeding it. So what you have to do is you have to unplug the wire so that there's no power to it, and then you just feed in as normal, and then you slice with Simplify 3D. But Slicer, I've been playing with Slicer for about 5 months secretly because that was a big deal changer for me. We're going from that slicing software from Simplify 3D, and update after update after update after update, it performs. Now, I'm not going to say it's better than Simplify 3D. For me, Simplify 3D is my go-to. But when I were at TCT, I met one of the profile guys from Prusa, and the passion and the knowledge of that one member of that however member team, I think it's 5 or 6 members, that one member was so passionate. And when you can just go into a slicing software and click print 0.15 layer heights and click print, and you get a print that is really, really good quality. I mean, you can tweak it and you can go further if you want to, but for straight out of the box, push and play performance, because the printer I got over there was a pre-built unit that was on display. Yeah, it's done 7 days worth of printing. Well, the TCT show is only 3 days long, so it's been around, it's traveled. And for me, I've never had that user experience. I've always had to build the Prusa. To take the Prusa out of the box, to put the powder-coated PI sheet on it, load the Prusament in, and click play, and it prints first time, straight off the bat, boom. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a good first user.
Yeah, and that's huge. Like, I mean, just even like I love S3D, but the fact that they are putting as much work into theirs and making it work out of the box, that's huge, because you got to think, especially new people, that's a huge hurdle. Like, oh, where do I download a profile? You know, et cetera, et cetera.
What's going on?
Oh, she's all right, Alice Yu, she's all right.
Yeah, I talked to Alex Rothschilder. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's very responsive.
He's the marketing director there.
Yeah, I have no issues with him. He's been very responsive to anything. What are you doing? What are you doing, Miles? You okay
he asked
there?
me once I got my printer out. He wanted to know how it had gone and so on. So he messaged me to say, "Oh, look, how's the printer gone? Are you enjoying it? Is anything you recommend that we could change? Is there that you've seen that wasn't quite good?" Which I found, obviously, I know the regular customer won't get that, but again, it was a new machine. It had only just sort of come out. And it was good that they were trying to pick feedback up. And I told them about the fan, and he said that he'd speak back to the engineers and so on. So it shows good ties, regardless of what Miles says.
Like I said, I think Miles this deep hatred would be just fixed if they just gave him a machine, and I think he'd be okay.
No, it goes deeper than that. I offered him my TiVo. He still won't have it.
Wow. I mean, I've played with this one briefly, and my goal this weekend. I thought about going up to Maker Faire in Milwaukee, but my wife is going there with her mom because there's a craft area or something, and they're into that stuff. She's going to let me know if it's worth making the couple-hour drive up there. But if it's not, then I'm going to be spending a lot of time with my machines here, getting everything set up and hooking Pis up to everything, because I'm spoiled and I don't use a printer if it doesn't have a Raspberry Pi connected.
Boo.
It's like creature comfort, man. Once you go Pi, you don't go back.
If you do send me a printer, I will destroy it on stream.
What if I send you a different printer?
I'd send him a printer just to see him destroy it on stream.
If you want to send me your property to destroy on stream,
you know what? I would, if I sent you one, and this printer actually prints really good. It's this little capsule. It's like $400, but the thing is made of steel frame. So I would love to see you try, because it's 5mm thick steel plate that it's made out. It's this little capsule, like this cylinder. It looks like a abomination of a MacBook Pro, and a 3D printer had a baby.
I would get the
but you probably would not be able to destroy it too far, because it's so sturdy.
I will get the jet fuel.
No, I won't waste a printer. It's gonna go to one of our yeah. We had a guy in here that was a kid that is a college kid, and he's been promised that machine. So I just got to finish the firmware on it. So, but I'll keep that in mind if I want to spend. It would probably cost me like what, $100, $200 US to send a printer across the pond. Can't imagine it's going to be that cheap.
It's not.
It'll be cheap. It's Miles that is well known.
You know what I'll do if I send him one? I'm going to declare it like $2,000 so he has to pay a bunch of import duties. What if I just sent him like just a box of just random crap, not actually anything useful, and he pays all the fees?
I still have TNT.
What is that?
Messaging me from like sending me letters saying I owe them like 60 quid because they apparently paid my import duty on a machine I reviewed for 3D printer chat. Right?
What?
They apparently paid it for me without telling me, and then sent me a bill for the import duty 6 months after I received the product.
Yeah, just be like, that wasn't me.
It's just annoying me. I've been on the phone.
You ever hear that song by Shaggy?
Yeah, I actually understand what he says in the bit that other people don't understand too.
Oh, is that an inside thing?
No, that's just being Jamaican.
Oh, are you Jamaican?
What? Who's Jamaican? You're not Jamaican.
Oh,
You're too short.
oh.
Ah! And you don't have hair.
Yes, he's like 2 inches too short.
I'm not even going bald. I've got to 25 and I'm not even slightly going bald. I'm so happy.
That's why he sits in front of that window. It's an optical illusion to make him look bigger.
You know, here's the thing. When I met Tom from Tom's 3D, I did not realize how short he was until I met him in person. I was like, I just want to be like, do you like set up your shots to like make it less obvious? I mean, because I know people do that, but I was like, I didn't realize how short he was. It never crossed my mind. I was like, because I have in my profile picture on Facebook, I have a picture of me and him and Joel, and it's like me, Joel, and then Tom. And like, I was surprised. I was like, it was one of those things that never crossed my mind until I met him. I was like, wow, he's really short.
He is really short.
Yeah, I think when he was visiting Joel on Seattle, when they were at Joel's table, because Joel's table is quite big, and he was really small beside Joel. But then again, Joel is big and Tom is small, so it was like a huge difference.
Joel is nearly a foot taller than Tom.
If you guys ever go to a show or any gathering, like I was at Maker Faire last weekend, and you go out to an event with Joel, he can knock him back. You keep feeding him Captain and Cokes. It's a great time. Like, he's hilarious. Like, Captain and Cokes. That's what he drinks. So if you wanna get Joel drunk,
I gotta bring him Mount Gay rum. He's got to step up his rum game. He's got to get a real Caribbean guy to help him step up the rum game. I
could use some recommendations. that's my drink. If I'm doing it's gonna be rum and Coke. I love rum.
Okay, and Coke. Mount Gay, the national import of Barbados, my name.
Mount Gay.
Yeah. Yeah. You will be happy. You will be.
I'm typing Mount Gay into Google, and you don't want to know the suggestions it's coming up with.
Mount Gay rum.
I found it. I've seen this before. I'll tell you what. After we're done with stream, I'm gonna go to a liquor store. I'm gonna pick it up, and I'm gonna watch YouTube videos and drink some Mount Gay and Coke tonight.
And in the morning, you can tell me that it was the best rum I've ever had, because it was.
We'll see. We'll see. Am I gonna get a terrible hangover from it?
I have no idea.
I'll let you know.
I've never had a hangover in my life.
I've had one, and it makes me kind of less. Although I did drink a lot at the Maker Faire thing. I woke up the next day, I was fine. So it was great, because at the end of the day, after the Matter Hackers thing, it was me. I don't even know the names of the other two guys that came along with us, but it was like me, my brother Doug, and Scott Latine from Marlin, and like Josh from G Create. Like, there was like 8 of us, and we were like it was in Flushing, so it's in the middle of like the Chinatown. So like we were walking around at like 3 a.m. We're like trying to find a place. We found a place. So there's like 8 drunk nerds walking into this Chinese place, and they're just looking at the menu, and it's all in Chinese. We're like, I can't read this, and we're like pulling out our phones with the Google Translate app, like trying to figure out what these dishes are. But it was a good time, and it was good food. So
Well, I'm gonna have to bail now, guys. It's 1 o'clock, and then it's like 12 o'clock, and TCT's just been so. I'm absolutely shattered, and I'm like falling asleep.
Are you never gonna wash that shirt again?
This shirt's already been washed. This is a Prusa marker. It's permanent. It don't come off in wash.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, does it right? You see.
Was it the official Prusa mark, permanent marker?
Yeah, no, it wasn't even a Sharpie. It was an official real pen. In fact, it was fresh. It was first thing. He had to nib it first before it started.
Okay, I know his filament's awesome, but he could have thought of better name than Prusament. Like,
Why?
it's so weird.
That happened. That Prusament happened months and months and months ago. He put something out there about filament, and somebody said it. I don't even know who said it, and everyone liked it, and I like it.
It's weird to say. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. He could have been like angel hair filament or something. I don't know. Something perfect.
Timothy Mans.
See, I wouldn't do that. Like, if I came up with film, it would be like TH3D mint. Like, you know, or I can't even think of something.
It's like when people say filamentium. I hear that all the time. Filamentium. And
I say it's filamentum, isn't it?
That's it. Filamentum. And it's one of my big things. It just makes me laugh every time.
No.
So yeah, I'm going.
It was nice seeing you again, Tom.
I'm taking the Prusament with me.
Yeah, have it beside you while you sleep.
Did you see that picture?
No.
Yeah, Josie Prusa gave me a PEI sheet and this, and then when I went to bed in a hotel, I slept with my head on it and tweeted him, and it's been sat at the top of his Twitter page for about 3 days.
I have to go look at this.
Just go have a look at Josie Prusa's Twitter, and you'll see it there. I think Tim can put it on the screen because he's one of these fancy OBS nerds.
I do. Hang on. We're gonna switch. We're gonna go to main monitor here. Whee!
Yeah, scroll down there. There you go. Look, there I am. There's me.
Oh man.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, that's amazing.
I was not involved in this whatsoever.
That was. I didn't know what else I had up on my screen here when I shared that. I was like, we're gonna see it. I'm just working on like product documentation while I've been chatting with you guys.
You saw all the product catalog cost prices for the website at Tim's.
Yeah, I don't even actually know all of my costs. Is that bad?
Yeah.
My wife might know. My wife might know though because she knows all the books.
The only business class I ever took was accountancy, so I think that's bad.
My wife was a corporate auditor for a really large company here in the U.S. called Exelon, and now
that even sounds evil.
I call it Evil Corp.
Yeah,
because she hated it. I was like, "Oh, you're gonna work for Evil Corp? Like, have fun at Evil Corp." And I have the E Corp like shirt, and I would always wear it when we go to like company functions and stuff to see if anybody picked up on it. But they own like tons of utilities. Like they own ComEd, which is our electric company, which when she worked for them, I thought she was just leaving all our lights on all the time to give them more money. But they get a lot of our money. Because I use about 2,500 kilowatt hours a month here.
Oh boy, you need to get some solar. God damn.
Oh, you have watts for energy. I think you would have freedom units for energy.
No, it's watts and kilowatt hours. So I know our electric company literally sends me emails saying you're using 400% more than your neighbors. And I was like, okay, our neighbors are like, we live in a condo building. It's mostly old people. I'm like, they don't even have a computer. So it's not surprised they use 300 kilowatt hours a month. Okay. Like even before then we were using like 1,100. So because of the printers, we've doubled. I don't know if you can see, there's a bunch of machines running behind me right now. You can't even see all of them in the shot. And there's more outside. We have some in the living room too. Yeah, which is why I need a house.
Yeah,
it's getting tight in here. I've shoehorned as many machines as I can. Obviously, I got openings here and here, which will be filled this weekend. This is the capsule behind me, by the way. This is the one. I'll show it so you guys can see. ZinkyBot's the company that sent it to me, and they sent me the source code.
Ooh.
seriously though, this thing is heavy. This thing is seriously heavy. This is solid steel, not aluminum. Very small print volume, but look at all linear rails on the X, Y, and Z. Like, and they're H-Win rails. Like, just the rails in this thing are easily over $100. And they have Gates GT2 closed loop belts. So, yeah, they didn't skimp on the hardware, which is why they charge $400 for this thing. But the print out of the box, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So, but Miles, like I said, this thing would be really hard to kill. You could probably use this as a weapon. It's so solid.
I'm perfect. I wouldn't destroy that. That's a printer.
Like, it's solid. I
wouldn't destroy a printer.
They reached out to me and they sent me a link. I was like, it's really tiny. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a try. And I plugged it in, loaded the filament, leveled the bed, and I hit print. And the first benchy came out. Actually, this is the benchy it did. Like, this is the stock. Hang on, let me adjust my focus here. Hang on, 4K camera, configure video, and let's play with our focus here.
That TiVo money.
That TiVo money. There. So real. It's been banged up, but this is printed on it completely stock, like with just some cheap PLA. So
That's pretty nice.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, kind of like, is this just gonna be another cheap Chinese printer that they're marking up because it looks interesting? And then I got it, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, they put some money into just the mechanicals on here. So I was, it was interesting. It was nice to see something different from your standard stuff, and one that actually worked. Worked out of the box, and I could see a use case for this. And the guy I'm giving it to, he lives in a dorm, so he doesn't have a lot of space, but he wants to prototype stuff. This is perfect. Like, it's tiny, like it's durable. Like, this thing is literally, I accidentally knocked it off my desk onto the floor a couple times, and I put it back up here, and it printed. So I'm really impressed with it. But is it worth the $400? It depends on what your use case is. The physical components are actually good, so it's not like you're paying $400 and not getting, you're getting cheap stuff. They actually did put good equipment in there. So, and it's got an MKS mini board, which is a 2560. So decent board. Texas Instruments 132nd stepping drivers, 88 DRV 8825. So whoever put it together did their homework, is I guess what I'm trying to say. And it impressed me. It was kind of like I set my bar real low, and I was blown away because I was like, it's just a small printer. How good is it going to do? So,
that printer is smaller than that spool that I have.
It is. It's not saying much. That AlphaWise is huge. I was like, my buddy was like, well, how big can that print? I literally took the TiVo flash, I set it on the bed. I was like, I can literally print this entire printer on here. That spool was full, by the way, if anyone cares about the progress of it. That spool's almost gone. I got maybe another 10-15 minutes before it chews that up. So
pretty big.
Yeah. So
that mount, I am gonna have to bounce because all my stuff has decided to kick in at once right now. So,
all right.
Yeah, I think it's been a good stream. Yep. I'm getting pretty tired also. So
it was nice to see you guys. I'm gonna drop out and get some food. It is 6:37 p.m. here.
You're wrong.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go.
Right.
So I'm gonna go mount gay rum and put it in my mouth. So
yeah. So see you everybody, and thanks for watching all the crap we are talking about. So
well,
let's be honest. The end of the streams are just random chat. Like
light speed world is giant sphere. Time not staying.
I might be doing a stream tomorrow, so if anybody wants to harass me.
No matter how much technology we have, we can't make time zones go away.
I know, right?
Yeah,
Anyways.
everybody just move to Iceland. That will solve. But it's
Nobody can fit in Iceland.
And I know how much you pay for filming, okay? I'm not paying that for filming.
No.
All right, guys. It was a pleasure. Take it easy. Everybody watching, thanks for watching. And everybody have a good weekend and happy printing.
TiVo is